Good morning, dear friend. The first golden light of dawn begins to stretch gently across the earth, and the hush of the world still lingers in the air. I welcome you into this sacred space, a moment carved out of time just for you and your Creator. The birds have not yet filled the sky with their songs, and the streets remain quiet beneath the soft veil of morning mist. It is here, in this gentle stillness, before the demands of the day awaken, that your heart is most able to hear what truly matters. This is not just a new day, it is a new chance. A chance to breathe differently, to feel deeper, to speak honestly, and to be spoken to by the one who shaped your soul. Somewhere, not too far from here, someone just like you woke up with tears still fresh from the night before. Maybe they did not sleep at all. Perhaps a phone call came at midnight that changed everything. A diagnosis, a goodbye, a betrayal, or maybe it was not a single moment at all, but the quiet buildup of countless disappointments, fears, and silent battles that have made them wonder whether life will ever feel light again. They smiled yesterday, but no one saw the weight they were carrying underneath. They showed up to work, to family, to obligations, but inside, they were unraveling. Their strength was praised, but their soul was breaking. Perhaps you know that feeling all too well. You may not have had the words for it. You may have tried to press it down or cover it up, but your heart knows. It knows the ache, the longing, the silent cry for more. And yet here you are awake. Here you are searching. And because of that, something beautiful is already unfolding. You have stepped into this moment, not just for comfort, but for transformation, not to escape reality, but to walk through it with divine strength. This is the invitation of prayer. Prayer is not performance. It is not a list of demands or a ritual of guilt. It is a conversation honest, raw, and holy. It is your heart colliding with heaven. It is the place where your pain is seen, your silence is heard, and your questions are not too much. You do not have to know the right words. You only need to be willing to speak and to listen. For when you speak in faith, heaven leans in. And when you dare to hope, even with trembling hands, the ground beneath your feet begins to change. Today, you are invited into something sacred, not just to recite, but to commune, not just to hear, but to be changed. This is a journey into the presence of God, not through the noise of the world, but through the quiet of your own soul. And whether you are joyful, grieving, angry, tired, or numb, you are welcome here. Every breath you take in this moment is not accidental. Every tear, every sigh, every whispered word matters to the one who made you. Faith does not require perfection. It requires presence. And so, I invite you now exactly as you are to let go of what you were carrying, to lay aside every pressure and to simply be. Open your heart, open your ears. Let this morning be more than another routine. Let it be a meeting place between you and eternity. For when you begin your day with God, you do not walk through it alone. Come, dear friend. The journey begins now. Dear Heavenly Father, in the stillness of this morning, before the world fully awakens, I come to you with a heart that longs to be heard. The light is just beginning to stretch across the sky, and in this quiet space, I bring all that I am to you. There is no need for perfect words or rehearsed lines, just honesty. Just presence. Just me, reaching for you as the day begins. I am here, Lord, not because I have it all together, but because I need you more than ever. I come with a soul that feels worn from the weight of yesterday, with thoughts that race too fast and fears that whisper too loud. And yet, here in this sacred hush, I believe you are near, not as a distant presence, but as a father who sees me, knows me, and wants to meet with me before the day unfolds. I know there is beauty in this hour, a kind of holiness that wraps around everything, the soft light, the silent streets, the world between sleep and movement. It all feels like an invitation. You call to me through the gentle breeze, through the first birdsong, through the breath that fills my lungs. And in this moment, I want to answer, not with grand declarations, but with the small whisper of a heart saying yes. Yes to your nearness. Yes to your guidance. Yes to being still with you. Because even before I speak a word, you already know my heart. You know the heaviness I carry. You know the thoughts I have not yet dared to say out loud. You know the quiet grief, the unanswered questions, and the places in me that still feel raw. And still, you welcome me. So I come with no masks. I come without pretending. I come to let this morning be more than just another sunrise. Let it be the beginning of something deeper, a new softness in my spirit, a new openness in my heart, a new courage to be with you, not only when life feels easy, but especially when it feels uncertain. I do not need the world's noise right now. I need your voice, the one that calms the chaos, the one that speaks peace over fear, the one that reminds me who I am when I start to forget. I open this day with you, because I do not want to face it alone. The truth is, Lord, I get tired, I lose focus, I become impatient, anxious, reactive, but I know that with you, I can begin again. Every morning, you offer me new mercy. Every breath is a gift, and so I take this breath now, slowly, intentionally, knowing you are here in it. I release yesterday the failures, the frustrations, the moments I wish I could redo. I lay them at your feet. I release what I cannot control. I let go of the pressure to have all the answers. Instead, I take hold of something deeper. Your presence. Your steadiness. Your grace that does not grow weary like I do. There is something about this time that feels sacred. Maybe it is because the world has not yet had its chance to pull me in 1,000 directions. Maybe it is because my heart, though tender, is more willing to be shaped before it hardens to the day's demands. Whatever it is, I do not want to miss it. This morning moment, this quiet hour where you draw near, I want to linger here a little longer. I want to breathe you in before I take on anything else. I want to remember who you are so I can remember who I am. You are constant. Even when my emotions are not, you are strong. Even when I feel weak, you are present. Even when I feel alone, you are love, pure and unshaken. Even when I question my worth, and that changes everything. It reminds me that I am not defined by what happened yesterday or what might happen today. I am defined by the fact that I am yours. I belong to you. And nothing can change that. Not fear. Not failure. Not even my own doubts. You have claimed me, and that is the anchor I hold on to now. So, as I step into this day, I want to step with you. Let each moment begin in you. Let my words be filtered through your kindness. Let my actions reflect the grace I have received. And when I am tempted to rush, remind me to slow down. When I am tempted to speak out of fear, help me choose peace. When I feel overwhelmed, draw me back to this stillness. Remind me that I can return to this place anytime, not just in the morning, but in the middle of chaos, in the middle of tears, in the middle of anything. You are not limited to a time or space. You are always near, but right now, in this morning light, I feel you closer than ever, and I do not take that for granted. Thank you for this quiet beginning. Thank you for being a God who listens, who waits, who whispers peace when the world shouts worry. Thank you for meeting me here, not with judgment, but with open arms. Thank you for the gift of this day and the opportunity to walk through it with you. I do not know what it will hold. I do not know what will come my way, but I know that if I begin it with you, I can face it with courage. I can face it with grace. I can face it knowing that I am not alone. So here I am, awake, willing, open. This is my offering to you, this heart, this breath, this moment. Let it be enough. Let it be the beginning of a deeper walk, a gentler heart, a stronger spirit. Let it be real. Let it be holy. Let it be held in your hands. Lord, as I remain in this stillness with you, something deep inside begins to stir, something I can no longer ignore. The silence has given space for my soul to speak honestly. And now, it whispers truths I have tried to keep hidden. The light of morning, so soft and pure, gently reaches the corners of my heart that have remained untouched for too long. And in your presence, I cannot pretend. I cannot hide behind distractions or noise. I feel the weight of what I carry, the mistakes I regret, the moments I let fear speak louder than faith, the choices I made out of desperation, not trust. I feel it all now. And instead of running, I choose to stay. You see it all, God. Even the parts I wish I could erase. The thoughts I would never speak out loud. The ways I have been too hard on others, and even harder on myself. You see the bitterness that clings beneath my smile. You see the shame that shows up in quiet moments, reminding me of what I have done, or what I failed to do, and yet you stay. You do not turn away in disappointment. You do not recoil. Instead, you draw closer. You invite me not to deny what is broken, but to surrender it. There is something holy about surrender, not as a sign of weakness, but as the deepest kind of strength. Because letting go takes courage, releasing control feels terrifying. But I know that what I keep gripping will only keep hurting me. So here I am, with open hands. I give you my fears, Lord. The fear of not being enough. The fear of failing again. The fear of being too much or never being truly seen. I give you the anger that still simmers from old wounds. The resentment that I have nurtured like a shield. The memories that play like shadows on repeat, stealing my peace. I give you the pain I have tried to justify. The habits I have called survival, but have only kept me stuck. I give you the patterns that I know are not from you, but feel too familiar to release. I give you the silence I kept when I should have spoken. The words I used when I should have been still. I give you the mask I have worn just to make it through the day. You already know what is underneath, and you are not afraid of it. You do not shame me into change. You love me into freedom. So I surrender not because I have all the answers, but because I am tired of pretending I do. I surrender because holding on to all of this has left me exhausted. I surrender because I want more than just survival. I want healing. I want to be whole, not perfect, but honest. Not flawless, but free. I want to live with a heart that breathes again, that beats without the dull ache of regret. God, I know you are near to the brokenhearted. I believe you do not turn away from sorrow, but draw even closer. And so I let you in fully. I open every locked door. I uncover what I have buried. I invite you into the parts of me that I have kept guarded out of fear of rejection. I trust that you will not harm what is fragile. I trust that you will not shame what is scarred. You are not here to condemn me. You are here to redeem me. Even now, I can feel something shifting. It is not dramatic or loud, but it is real. A soft loosening of the grip I have kept on pain. A gentle release of the lies I have believed for too long. And in their place, I begin to feel your presence settle deeper, not as a concept, but as comfort, as truth, as peace that I did not even know I needed this badly. I remember now that you are the God who meets people in the wilderness, the God who draws near to the outcast, the ashamed, the weary. You sat with the hurting. You touched the untouchable. You looked into eyes filled with guilt and responded with mercy. And if you did it for them, then you can do it for me. You are not done with me, not even close. And no matter how far I have wandered, I am not beyond your reach. This is not the end of my story. It is only the place where something new begins, where the false layers fall away, where pride breaks, where grace finds room to breathe. And though I may still feel unworthy at times, I trust that you see something in me worth rescuing, worth restoring, worth calling your own. So I surrender my need to understand everything. I surrender my timeline, my expectations, my demands. I surrender the part of me that wants to fix what only you can heal. I lay it all down, not because I have given up, but because I finally believe I do not have to carry it alone. Let this surrender be my offering, Not just this morning, but again and again, as often as it takes. Let it be the song my heart sings when it forgets how to be strong. Let it be my turning point, the quiet moment when everything began to change, not because the world did, but because I let you change me from within. And as the light of day grows brighter outside, may your light grow even brighter inside me. Let it shine through the cracks, through the scars, through every surrendered space. Let it remind me that grace is not just something you give. It is the very air I breathe when I finally stop running and start trusting. Here, in this stillness, with nothing left to hide, I know that you are with me, and that is enough. Father, even now, as my soul begins to unclench and release what it has been gripping so tightly, I notice how quiet everything has become inside me. Not empty, just quiet. There is a stillness I have not felt in a long time. It is not the absence of thought, but the settling of my spirit, like water that has been stirred and now gently calms. And in this quiet, I begin to sense something more than just peace. I begin to sense you speaking, not in thunder or in shouts, but in the way still air moves through a forest, barely noticeable but undeniably present. You are here, and you are whispering. God, how often have I missed this voice, drowned it out with noise, rushed past it with distraction, or buried it beneath fear and business. But now that I am finally still enough to listen, I do not want to miss a word. I want to learn what it means to truly hear you, not just with my ears, but with the deepest parts of who I am, not just when I am desperate, but as the rhythm of my life. Speak to me, Lord, not because I am worthy, but because I am willing. Speak into the silence of my soul and let your voice be the anchor I need. Sometimes I have wondered what your voice sounds like. Is it like music? Is it like a memory? Is it wrapped in words? Or is it something deeper, something my heart understands before my mind does? I think it is all of that and more. I think your voice sounds like stillness that stirs something inside me, like conviction without condemnation, like love that does not need explanation, like a familiar warmth that reminds me I have always been known. And so, I listen now, not to check a box or earn something, but because I crave it. I crave clarity in a world full of confusion. I crave comfort that no one else has been able to give. I crave truth that does not change with opinions or trends. I crave the sound of something eternal, something holy, something that knows my name and still calls me worthy. In this quiet, I ask you to teach me how to recognize when you are speaking. Help me to discern what is your voice and what is not. Help me to tune my spirit to the frequency of your presence, so that even in the noise of life, I can stay connected to the quiet truth of your love. Help me not to rush through this moment or fill it with my own words. Let me rest in the sacred space between my sentences and give room for your whisper to find its way in. God, I do not want to be so consumed with asking for answers that I forget to be available for your presence. Sometimes what I need most is not a solution, it is a shift in perspective. Sometimes I do not need you to fix the storm outside, but to calm the storm within. And I believe your voice has the power to do just that. I believe that one word from you can change everything. It can bring peace to chaos, light to confusion, and strength to weariness. One word from you can remind me that I am not lost, not forgotten, not forsaken. So, I wait. I wait with expectation, not pressure. I wait with humility, not demand. I wait with a heart that says, whatever you want to say, I want to hear it. If you want to speak healing, I receive it. If you want to bring correction, I welcome it. If you want to give reassurance, I open my hands to it. If you want to be silent for a moment longer, I will trust that even your silence is filled with meaning. Because being with you, even in the quiet, is better than being anywhere else without you. Let this moment be more than a pause. Let it be the doorway into a deeper way of living. A way that does not just react to the world around me, but responds to the voice within me. Let this stillness become the place where decisions are made, where attitudes are shaped, where wounds are acknowledged, and where peace takes root. Let this stillness become the space where I stop striving to be heard and begin learning how to truly hear. You are not a God who hides. You are not distant or withholding. You are near, always speaking, always moving, always reaching, but you do not force your way in. You wait for my stillness, for my permission, for my attention, and here I am now, finally still enough to listen. I want to fill this moment with fear. I want rush to fill it with my own voice. I will wait, and I will trust that you speak in the way my heart is ready to receive. Even if the words are simple, even if they come slowly, even if they arrive not in sentences, but in a steady sense of knowing, I will receive them. Because your voice, Lord, is not like the voices of this world. It does not shame. It does not shout me down. It does not manipulate or confuse. Your voice leads. It reassures. It brings me back to myself. And more importantly, it brings me back to you. So let this day be marked not just by what I do, but by how I listen. Let it begin not with action, but with attention. Let the tone of your voice set the tone for everything that follows. Let the rhythm of your whisper become the rhythm of my thoughts, the pace of my steps, the posture of my heart. Speak, God, I am listening. Father, now that I have quieted the noise and made space for your voice, I begin to feel something deeper moving within me. It is not loud. It is not sudden. It is steady and real, like a warm current beneath still water. There is a softness unfolding, a gentle awareness that you are not just present, you are pouring out love in ways I have not allowed myself to receive before. I feel you pressing through the cracks I once tried to seal, moving tenderly into places I was certain were too hardened, too bruised, or too far gone. And what surprises me most is how this love does not demand anything from me. It does not ask me to earn it, explain it, or make it tidy. It simply comes. It simply holds. God, I did not know how guarded my heart had become, how often I have measured my worth by what I accomplish, how much I give, how well I perform. Even in faith, I have sometimes tried to earn what you already gave freely. But this moment, right here, is rewriting something in me, because now I see it was not your voice that asked me to prove myself. It was my own fear. It was not you who pulled away when I felt inadequate. It was my shame. But you stayed. Through every moment I tried to perform my way into peace. You stayed. And now, as I slowly release those self-imposed expectations, I begin to feel the quiet healing of grace. Your grace, Lord, is unlike anything else. It does not flatter or pretend. It does not ignore my weakness. It meets me in it. It meets me when I fall short, when I miss the mark, when I forget what matters most. It meets me when I am overwhelmed, and when I numb myself to escape the pressure. And it does not come with guilt or disappointment. It comes with a steady kindness that reminds me I am still loved. I am still yours. I am still welcome at the table. There is something sacred about being known so deeply and still being chosen. There is something holy in realizing that your love is not based on my strength or my stability. It is based on who you are, not who I try to be. And today, in the simplicity of this morning, I choose to receive that truth again, not because I finally deserve it, not because I have done everything right, but because I need it. I need to be reminded that love does not come from striving. It flows from grace. It flows from the heart of a Father who does not change when I do, who does not pull away when I stumble, who does not withhold comfort when I am lost in confusion or fatigue. Lord, let this grace not only settle in my heart, but open it. Break through the walls I have built in the name of strength. Soften the defenses I have called boundaries, but were really born of pain. Let your grace disarm the places in me that have been hardened by disappointment. Let it undo the lies I have picked up along the way, the ones that say I am too broken, too late, too much, or not enough. Replace those voices with the sound of your steady love. Let it echo louder than my inner critic. Let it wrap around the parts of me I have tried to keep hidden and say, you are mine. You are loved. You are safe. I know grace does not mean I am free from consequence or responsibility, but it does mean that I do not walk through those consequences alone. It means I am not defined by my lowest moment. It means that even in the fallout, you are rebuilding something beautiful, and that truth opens my heart in a way nothing else can. It frees me from the endless cycle of trying to fix myself before I come to you. It teaches me to come as I am and to trust that in your hands I will not remain as I am. So here I am, God, with a heart opening wider than it did yesterday. Not perfectly, not all at once, but honestly, willingly, gratefully. I can feel the weight beginning to lift, the heavy expectations, the self-imposed pressure, the fear of never measuring up. They are slowly being replaced by peace, and not just any peace, but the kind that comes from being seen and still embraced, from being fully known and still fully wanted. You are not keeping a record of my wrongs. You are not waiting for me to clean up before you draw close. You are already here, offering grace without condition. And that changes everything. That changes the way I see myself. It changes how I approach this day. It reminds me that I am not fighting for love, I am living from it. I am not chasing approval, I am resting in it. And that shift, though quiet, is profound. It is the beginning of healing. It is the beginning of becoming whole. Let this grace not stop with me. Let it shape how I speak to others today. Let it soften my words, my reactions, my judgments. Let it teach me to offer what I have received, to lead with compassion instead of criticism, to extend understanding before assumption, to look for goodness even in unlikely places. Let your grace expand my capacity to love, to forgive, to see people through your eyes. Lord, do not let this moment be temporary. Don't let this softness fade when the demands of the day rise. Teach me how to carry it with me, to protect it, nurture it, and return to it when I feel it slipping away. Let this morning be more than a feeling. Let it be a turning point, a place where something shifts, not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. You are writing something new in me, and grace is the ink. You are shaping something beautiful in the quiet corners of my heart, and I do not want to rush past it. I want to sit here a little longer. Let it sink in a little deeper. Let every beat of my heart echo the truth that I am loved, not for what I do, but for who I am in you. Thank you for this love I did not earn, but get to receive. Thank you for this grace that opens me without breaking me. Thank you for being the one who sees me clearly and loves me completely. Let this morning carry the fragrance of that love. Let it linger in the way I walk, speak, and think. Let it become the very rhythm of how I live. Lord, as I sit in the warmth of your grace, I begin to sense a new stirring within me, one that is tender, yet bold. I feel you leading me to a deeper release, to a freedom that only comes through forgiveness. Not just the forgiveness I have received from you, which humbles me in its depth and constancy, but the forgiveness I have yet to offer to others and to myself. I realize that some doors inside me have remained closed, not out of hatred, but out of hurt, not out of defiance, but out of fear that if I open them, the pain will flood back in. But you are not asking me to open them alone. You are with me now, and where you lead, healing follows. Father, you know every wound I carry. You know the people whose words left scars I still feel. You know the disappointments that still echo in my memory. You know the betrayals I never speak about, because even the mention of them tightens something in my chest. But you are not bringing these memories back to shame me. You are not asking me to relive them. You are asking me to let them go, to stop gripping them like weapons or shields, to release the weight they place on my spirit. You are asking me to forgive not for their sake alone, but for mine, because as long as I hold on to anger, it holds on to me. It is not that I want to stay bitter. It is that part of me has believed the lie that holding onto the pain keeps me safe, that remembering the hurt keeps me strong, but all it has done is keep me tied to moments that are no longer mine to carry. It has built walls around my heart where bridges were meant to be, and I am tired, God, tired of rehearsing old conversations, tired of silently punishing others in my thoughts, tired of letting the past poison the present. So I come to you, hands shaking but open, and I lay down what I have clung to for far too long. Lord, I choose to forgive, even if it takes 1,000 prayers, even if it starts with whispering the words before I feel them. I forgive those who hurt me, not because they deserve it, but because I no longer want to carry them in my heart as pain. I no longer want their actions to have a hold on my peace. I release them to you. I trust you with their story. I trust you with mine. I surrender the need to be repaid, to be understood, to be vindicated. I surrender the anger that has made a home in my bones. I surrender the sadness I have used to justify distance. And Lord, as I release others, I also bring before you the deepest and most silent part of this wound, my inability to forgive myself. You know the moments I replay in shame, the decisions that wake me in the night, the words I wish I could take back, the opportunities I missed, the damage I may have caused. Sometimes I find it easier to extend grace to others than to believe I am worthy of receiving it myself. But you never asked me to be perfect. You only asked me to return, and I am returning now, not with polished excuses, but with an honest heart. I ask you to teach me how to see myself through the lens of your mercy. Let forgiveness flow into every corner of my life. Let it become the rhythm of my healing. Let it break apart the chains that have bound me to yesterday. Let it move like water into places I thought were too dry to feel again. Let it soften what became rigid. Let it loosen what became tangled. Let it refresh what became dull from holding on so tightly to pain. You are not a God of grudges. You are not a God who hoards guilt. You are the one who kneels beside the broken and calls them beloved. And if you call me forgiven, who am I to argue? So I accept it. I receive it. I choose to live from it. I will not let bitterness be my legacy. I will not let resentment define my future. I will not carry forward what you already died to set me free from. Let forgiveness be my freedom song. Let it rise up in me and spill over into my relationships, my thoughts, and even my memories. Let it transform the way I speak about others and the way I speak to myself. Let it shift the atmosphere of my life, not just today, but every day that follows. This forgiveness does not erase the pain. It does not minimize what happened. It places the burden in your hands, where justice and mercy meet perfectly. It allows me to breathe again, to walk lighter, to love more openly. It opens the path ahead so I do not have to keep circling back to what is behind. It lets me move forward with clean hands and a soft heart, no longer bound to the past, but free to embrace what you are unfolding next. And in this release, Lord, I ask for something more, not just healing for myself, but restoration for what was lost, where relationships were broken. Bring new beginnings. Where trust was shattered, plant seeds of hope. Where silence has lived too long, speak reconciliation. Let the fruit of forgiveness be seen, not just in my inner world, but in the way I live, love, and lead. Let it echo in every conversation. Let it be the undercurrent of every interaction. Let others encounter you through the forgiveness that flows out of me. You are the God who rewrites stories, the God who breathes life into graves, the God who takes what is bitter and makes it beautiful. And I believe you are doing that in me. Right here. Right now. I believe that this morning is not just the start of another day, but the beginning of a new freedom. I believe that this forgiveness is not just a feeling, but a decision, a holy declaration that I belong to love, not to bitterness, that I am a vessel of grace, not of judgment, that I am moving forward, not because I forget, but because I remember who I am in you. Thank you, Lord, for never giving up on me, for being patient with the parts of me that took longer to heal, for holding space for this moment, for inviting me into the hard but holy work of forgiveness, and for never asking me to do it alone. Let this be the place where the tide turns. Let this be the moment when grace wins again. Let it rise and take root. Let it become my way of living, not just my way of praying. Let forgiveness be my legacy, and love its loudest echo. Father, as forgiveness loosens its quiet grip on my soul, I feel the ground beneath me beginning to shift, not in uncertainty, but in strength. A different kind of strength. Not loud, not flashy, but rooted, sure, like something deep beneath the surface has settled into place. I can feel you inviting me now to rest in what is eternal, to stop chasing clarity from things that constantly change, and to plant myself instead in what never does your promises. I have spent so much of my life grasping for something steady. Today, I want to stop grasping and start anchoring. Lord, you know how often I have tried to find security in the temporary, in people's approval, in success, in routine, in things I could see or touch. But every time I held those things too tightly, they slipped through my fingers. Not because they were bad, but because they were never meant to carry the weight of my soul. And I think I always knew that. I think that is why the anxiety came. That is why the pressure built. Because somewhere deep down, I knew that unless I was anchored in something unshakable, I would always feel like I was drifting. But you, God, are not like the world around me. You are not fragile. You do not change with the seasons. You do not fade when I am weak or disappear when I doubt. You remain steady, present, true. Your promises are not just poetic words or distant hopes. They are anchors, driven deep into the ocean floor of my life. They hold fast when storms rise. They keep me from being swept away by the waves of fear, failure, or fatigue. And now that I have let go of the pain I carried, I have hands free to hold on to what is firm, what is forever. Remind me, Lord, of what you have promised, not in abstract ways, but in the moments that matter most. Remind me that you said I am never alone, even when the silence stretches longer than I expected. That you are working in all things, even the ones I do not understand yet. That you give strength to the weary and comfort to the broken. That your plans for me are good, even when the road does not look like I thought it would. That you are a refuge, a healer, a guide, a provider, a savior, and a friend. And that none of those roles depend on my performance. They are who you are, Help me carry these promises into my day, not just as ideas, but as truths that shape how I walk and breathe and speak. When the noise around me grows, let your promises be the quiet truth I return to. When the weight of decisions feels too heavy, let your word be the lamp to my feet. When doubt creeps in like a shadow, let the light of your faithfulness push it back. Let every fear bow to what you have already spoken. Let every worry shrink in the face of what you have already sealed. You have not forgotten what you promised, even if I have. You are not wary of repeating your truth, even when I need to hear it again. You do not roll your eyes when I come back, needing the same reassurance. You meet me each time with the same gentle strength, the same faithful whisper, the same invitation to trust you more deeply than before. And with each return, I learn that faith is not about never questioning it, is about choosing to remember. So I choose today to remember. I remember who you are. I remember what you have done. I remember the ways you have come through before, even when it looked impossible. I remember the doors you opened and the ones you closed that turned out to be mercy. I remember the peace you gave when I had none left in me. The nights you held me when no one else knew I was breaking. The mornings you gave new strength when I thought I had reached my end. You have been faithful not just once, but always, and you will be again. Let that remembrance become my anchor. Let it settle me in moments of chaos. Let it quiet the parts of me that want to rush or fix or fear. Let it still my soul, not just in theory, but in practice. Let it remind me that even when I do not feel in control, I am still held. Even when I do not know what comes next, I am not walking blind. Because you are with me. You go before me. You walk beside me. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. God, help me to build my life on that truth. Help me to make room in my heart for what endures, to let go of temporary things that drain me and make space for your promises to take root. To believe again not with naive hope, but with grounded trust. Trust that what you say, you will do. That what you begin, you finish. That what you bless, no one can curse. That no matter what shakes around me, what is anchored in you will not break. Let my faith grow deep, not just high. Let it be unseen but unshakable. Let it hold firm even when feelings waver. Let it shape how I pray, how I wait, how I love, and how I endure. Let it be the soil where courage grows and peace takes root. Let it become the foundation of how I live, not reacting to everything around me, but rooted in the one who never changes. You are my anchor, Father, and I do not need to drift anymore. I do not need to reach for things that cannot hold me. I do not need to fear the winds that rise or the waves that crash, because I am tethered to truth, to love, to you, and that truth is stronger than any storm. It is the quiet confidence that no matter what this day brings, I am not at the mercy of the moment. I am held by eternity, and eternity is holding me now. Father, because I am anchored in your promises, I find myself standing with more courage than I thought I had. There is a steadiness beneath my feet that was not there before, a calm not based on circumstances, but on the certainty of your presence. And yet, in this stillness, You are gently reminding me that faith is not only for the peaceful mornings, but also for the difficult days ahead. This quiet moment is not an escape from reality, it is preparation. You are not shielding me from life's battles, but you are equipping me to face them. You are teaching me how to be ready, not with fear, but with wisdom, not with panic, but with peace. God, I know the storms will come. They always do. They come in ways I expect and in ways I never see coming. Sometimes they rise slowly like a distant cloud, and sometimes they crash without warning. They come through hard conversations, unexpected loss, delays I did not plan, pressures I can't control. I cannot predict their shape or timing, but I can choose how I prepare. And this is where I want to begin, not with fear, but with you. Not by bracing myself alone, but by leaning into the strength you freely give. I ask you now to clothe me in what I need to endure, to stand, and to remain faithful, not just outwardly strong, but inwardly resilient. Teach me how to live aware, not afraid. Let discernment guide me without turning into suspicion. Let caution walk hand in hand with courage. Let me be alert, not anxious, awake, not overwhelmed. I do not want to live in denial of the battles. I want to live in readiness, grounded in truth, clothed in grace, empowered by your Spirit. Lord, help me see that every moment of stillness with you is a moment of training. You are shaping my responses before the pressure comes. You are strengthening my trust before it is tested. You are building patience before the delays frustrate me. You are deepening my roots so that when the wind howls, I do not break. Let me see the preparation for what it is: a gift, a mercy, a divine strategy. Let me not waste the calm by pretending life is always calm. Let me use it to anchor deeper, to fortify my soul, to store up what I will need when clarity fades and feelings shift. Show me, God, how to put on your armor, not in theory, but in practice. Let truth be the belt that keeps me grounded in reality, and not in the lies that fear tells me. Let righteousness protect my heart, so I do not react from pain, but respond with integrity. Let peace guard my steps, so I walk with purpose, even on uncertain ground. Let faith be my shield, not just in declarations, but in the moments when doubt whispers louder than hope. Let salvation cover my mind, reminding me that my identity is secure, not based on what I face, but on what you have already done. And let your word be the sword I carry, not to harm, but to fight back against discouragement and despair. Prepare me in the inner places, Lord, because battles are not always loud. Sometimes they show up as silent tension in the room, as thoughts that spiral in the night, as the quiet fatigue of fighting the same struggle over and over. Sometimes storms are not seen by others, but they rage inside. And those are the moments when I need to be armed, not with a smile that hides the H, but with faith that stands in it. Let your Spirit remind me that I am not weak for feeling. I am not failing because I struggle. I am human. And you are not asking for perfection, you are asking for surrender. So I give you my need for control, which often masks itself as preparation. I give you the urge to anticipate every outcome and plan for every what if. I give you the restless energy that builds when I sense a storm coming. And in exchange, I receive what you freely offer: peace that goes deeper than logic, strength that endures longer than adrenaline, and clarity that cuts through confusion like light through fog. Teach me to recognize the signs of battle not just in my circumstances, but in my spirit. When joy begins to fade, help me see the spiritual fatigue creeping in. When comparison grows loud, let me hear the warning of insecurity. When pride edges out gratitude, show me the subtle shift that threatens my focus. Dante, let me fight the wrong battles. Dante, let me exhaust myself on things you never asked me to carry. Help me fight well, with humility, with discernment, and with endurance. Let my preparation not be marked by fear-driven urgency, but by sacred diligence. Let me store up truth like oil in a lamp, so when the night comes, I have something that burns. Let me rehearse your promises so often that they become my reflex when doubt strikes. Let me live in such a way that peace becomes muscle memory, not because life is easy, but because I have trained my soul to return to you. And when the storm does come, because I know it will let me remember this moment. Let me remember the stillness that prepared me. Let me remember the way you met me when nothing was wrong, so I can trust you even when everything feels like it is. Let me recall the strength that was built not in the battle, but before it. Let me lean into the armor I did not wait too long to put on. Father, help me lead others in this too. Let my preparation become a witness. Let my peace point to you. Let others see that even though the wind howls and the waves rise, there is an anchor holding fast. There is a grace that steadies. Let them ask how. Let them ask why. And when they do, let me point back to this quiet place, to this daily rhythm of leaning in, of listening closely, of surrendering everything to the one who never leaves when the storm rolls in. You are not caught off guard by anything that will come. You are already ahead of it, already making a way, already holding the pieces. And if you are not afraid, I do not have to be. If you are not anxious, I do not need to spiral. If you are not shaken, neither will I be. So as I prepare my heart this morning, I do so with steady hands, with focused eyes, with a soul reminded that storms may shape the landscape, but they do not define the foundation, and mine is laid upon you. Father, because I have prepared my heart in your presence, I can face what lies ahead with a new sense of quiet confidence, not because I am stronger than the storm, but because I know I do not fight alone. There is a shift that happens when I remember that I am not the defender of my life, nor the protector of my peace. You are, and in this stillness, as I breathe in your nearness and steady my thoughts in your truth, I begin to remember that every battle I might face today is already known by you, already seen, already spoken over, already covered. You fight for me, not from afar, not as a spectator cheering me on from the distance, but as a present warrior, beside me, ahead of me, within me. You go before me, making crooked paths straight, pulling back what was meant to harm, holding back what was meant to break, standing firm in places where I feel too weak to even take a step. You are not a passive presence. You are active, intentional, fully engaged in the details of my life, even the ones I try to manage on my own. Especially those, Lord, you know the weight of what I carry today. You see the battles I try not to talk about, the inner wars no one knows are raging. The thoughts that tire me, the decisions that drain me, the worries that wear down my strength. And you do not dismiss them. You do not roll your eyes at my overwhelm. Instead, you step into it. You meet me in it. You remind me that I am not called to push through in my own power. I am called to stand in yours. When I want to fix, you invite me to trust. When I want to rush, you ask me to wait. When I want to shut down, you encourage me to stand up, not with anger or fear, but with grace and faith. You do not shame me for feeling unsteady. You offer stability. You do not scold me for being afraid. You speak peace into my fear. You whisper strength into my soul with words that do not sound like pressure, but like presence. And that changes everything. God, teach me to stop fighting battles that are not mine to fight. Show me where I have been trying to win in my own strength, exhausting myself with strategies you never asked me to build. Help me to release the need to always be in control, to lay down the armor I crafted out of pride and pain, to trade my anxious striving for surrendered dependence. Because no matter how capable I may seem on the outside, I know that deep down, I need you more than I sometimes admit. You are the one who parts the sea when there seems to be no way. You are the one who brings down walls that look impossible to move. You are the one who silences giants with a single stone. Over and over again, you have proven that victory does not come from size or speed or strategy. It comes from your presence, from your hand, from your heart that fights for what you love. And I am one of the ones you love. Let that truth settle into my bones. Let it be the banner over my day. Let it be the voice I hear when the lies start to rise, that I am alone, that I am not enough, that I will never win. Because those are not the words you speak. You speak of peace in the middle of pressure, of hope in the middle of hardship, of joy even in the middle of the unknown. And those words do not just comfort, they empower. They lift my head when it starts to fall. They realign my vision when it starts to blur. They remind me that the greatest victories are not the ones I force, but the ones I surrender into your hands. So I do that now. I hand you every battle I can see and every one I cannot. I lay down the conflict that keeps stealing my focus. I place into your hands the relationships that feel strained, the conversations that feel heavy, the decisions that feel too big. I trust you with the outcomes I cannot predict. I invite you into the places where I have tried to go it alone. And I ask you to fight, not because I am giving up, but because I am finally giving in. To you, to your way, to your timing, to your wisdom. And while you fight for me, help me fight alongside you, not against people, but against fear, against despair, against lies that steal joy and peace. Let my fight be one of faith, of grace, of quiet strength that does not need to shout to be true. Let me stand for what is good, what is holy, what is healing. Let me be an agent of peace in a world at war. Let me be a voice of calm in the middle of chaos. Let my presence be marked by your power, not my own. Let my words carry the authority of someone who knows they are protected. Let my actions reflect the courage of someone who knows they are never alone. Let my silence be full of trust, not fear. Let my prayers become battle cries that shift the atmosphere, not because they are loud, but because they are rooted in you. And when the fight feels long, let me return to this truth that I do not fight for victory. I fight from it, because you have already won. Father, thank you for being a shield around me, for standing between me and what I cannot handle on my own, for lifting my arms when I grow tired, for reminding me that even when the ground feels unsteady, you are the rock beneath my feet. Let this day unfold with the quiet confidence of one who is protected, held, and led, not by chance, but by choice, not by fate, but by faith. And as I step into whatever comes next, let my heart echo the truth I know now more than ever. I do not walk into this day alone. I am not unguarded. I am not unarmed. I am not forgotten. I am walking with the God who fights for me. And that is more than enough. Father, now that I know you fight for me, I no longer need to carry so much on my own. But even as I say that, I feel the quiet resistance still clinging to the edges of my soul. Not because I do not trust you, but because I have become so used to carrying certain weights that I have forgotten what it feels like to live without them. Some burdens have become familiar companions, quiet, constant pressures that ride on my shoulders as if they belong there. Responsibilities, regrets, unspoken expectations, silent worries, and yet, in your presence, I feel you gently reaching for them, not to shame me for holding them, but to offer me something better in exchange. God, you never intended for me to carry what is crushing me. You never designed me to be the answer to every question or the solution to every problem, and yet so often I take on more than you have asked. I take on things that were never mine to fix. I try to hold together what only your hands can sustain. I say yes out of fear. I carry weight out of guilt, and I try to be strong even when I am breaking inside. But you see through all of it. You see the quiet weariness, the tight breath, the clenched jaw, the exhaustion I have tried to label as normal. And you say it does not have to be this way. So here I am, Lord, worn but willing. Willing to give you what I have been managing alone. Willing to stop calling it strength, when really it is just survival. Willing to lay it down and let you carry what only you can. I bring you the burden of being needed too much, the fear of disappointing others, the pressure to perform, the fear of letting anything fall. I bring you the burden of decision, making the constant wondering if I am doing it right, choosing well, living wisely. I bring you the heaviness of what I have been holding in for far too long. The things I tell no one, the inner dialogues that steal my rest. I bring you the grief that still lingers, the sadness that visits in quiet moments. I bring you the anxiety that rushes in when the world starts spinning too fast. I bring you the weight of my past mistakes I have owned. Moments I have replayed 1,000 times, apologies I never got to speak. I bring you the burdens of others to the pain of people I love, the concerns I can solve, the needs that stretch beyond my limits. I give them to you now, not because they are small, but because you are big. Not because I want to escape, but because I want to be faithful without being buried. And in return, Father, I receive what you offer: your rest, your peace, your presence that never grows tired. I receive the gift of release, not a forgetting, but a loosening, a surrender. I receive the strength that flows not from effort, but from being rooted in you. I receive the grace that tells me I am allowed to breathe, to pause, to stop trying so hard to hold everything together. I receive the reassurance that I am not the savior of anyone, not even myself. That is your role. That is your power. And you do not ask me to compete with you. You ask me to walk with you. So let this be a holy exchange. My fear for your courage, my tension for your calm, my burden for your ease, my striving for your sufficiency. Teach me how to live light, not carelessly, but intentionally. Not recklessly, but rooted in the knowledge that I do not have to carry what you are already holding. Let me not feel guilty for resting. Let me not feel ashamed for needing help. Let me remember that even Jesus paused to pray, to be alone, to be restored. And if he needed that time, how much more do I? Help me resist the lie that says rest is weakness. Help me reject the idea that worth is proven by exhaustion. You are not impressed by burnout. You are moved by surrender. So I offer that now, not just once, but continually. Each time I notice a burden returning, remind me that I can release it again, that I can keep exchanging my heaviness for your ease, that this is not a one-time transaction, but a rhythm of grace, a way of walking with you moment by moment, releasing as often as I carry. Let this rhythm shape how I move through my day. Let it influence the pace of my heart, the tone of my thoughts, the posture of my soul. Let it soften me toward others, especially when I feel tempted to judge or react. Let it remind me that everyone is carrying something, and that compassion matters more than control. Let it open me up to love people freely, without trying to manage or fix them. Let it create space in me to truly listen, to truly be present, to truly live. And in the space that opens as I lay these burdens down, fill me again with your spirit. Let joy come in like fresh air. Let creativity rise. Let laughter return. Let hope expand. Let peace be more than a word. It can be the atmosphere I carry, the fragrance of a life lived lightly in you. Let it remind me that burdens were never meant to be hidden. They were meant to be handed over. You are not annoyed when I come again with what I thought I already gave you. You do not scold me for forgetting to release it the first time. You welcome me each time with the same steady love. You lift what is heavy, and you speak what is kind. You hold what I can see, and you do not tire of doing so. That is who you are. And because of that, I do not need to be strong all the time. I only need to be open, to come back, to breathe deep, to trust the invitation to hand over what is not mine to carry anymore. So I will. I do. And as I walk forward into this day, may my hands stay open, my heart stay light, and my soul stay rooted in the grace of this sacred exchange. What I give you, you carry. What you give me, I receive, and that is enough. Father, as I continue to lay down what was never mine to carry, I begin to feel something deeper rising to the surface, something I have pushed aside for too long. It is not loud or dramatic, but it is persistent, a quiet ache I have grown used to. It is the pain beneath the pressure, the bruise beneath the business, the wound I stopped looking at because I did not think anything could touch it anymore. But here, in this place of surrender, I feel you gently drawing it out, not to expose me, but to heal me. You are not asking for a performance. You are asking for honesty, and with you, I can be real. God, you know the places in me that no one else sees, the wounds that never fully closed, the moments I have buried under layers of resilience. You know the heartbreak I never told anyone about, the loneliness I disguised with a smile, the fear I silenced with distraction. You know the words that were said to me, the ones that replay when I am tired or vulnerable. You know the promises that were broken, the trust that was betrayed, the hopes that never bloomed the way I believed they would. And you know how those moments shaped me, how they made me cautious, how they taught me to build walls instead of bridges, how they convinced me that being safe meant staying guarded. But you are not content to let me live half alive. You are not satisfied with survival. You are the healer of hearts, the restorer of souls, the one who enters not just the obvious hurts, but the silent ones. You do not wait for me to fall apart publicly. You come into the private, hidden corners, the places that sting when touched, the places I told myself did not matter anymore, the places I assumed were part of the cost of living. But you see what is bleeding beneath what looks fine. You see what has been ignored and neglected, and you say it matters. You say I matter. So I bring it all to you. Father, every part I have tried to patch together, every scar I have tried to dismiss, every memory that still holds power over my peace. I do not know how to heal it on my own. I have tried pretending it did not hurt. I have tried rationalizing why it happened. I have tried moving on without ever really addressing what broke. But none of it brought wholeness. It only numbed the pain long enough to get through another day. I am tired of numbing. I want to feel again, not just the hurt, but the healing that follows. I want to stop bracing for impact and start believing in restoration. I trust you with my vulnerability. I trust you with the tender parts of me. I trust that you won't rush the process, that you won't grow impatient if I cry over the same thing more than once, that you won't call me weak for needing more time. I trust that your hands know how to hold broken things without causing more damage, that your presence is the safest place to unravel. I trust that what you touch, you restore. And I believe you want to restore me, not just my outer world, but my inner life, my thoughts, my emotions, my responses, my capacity to love and trust again. Let your healing move like light into the dark corners. Let it seep into the cracks I have covered. Let it warm what has grown cold. Let it soften what became hardened just to survive. Let it teach me how to live open again, not recklessly, but bravely. Let it show me that being whole does not mean being untouched. It means being fully known, fully loved, and slowly, steadily made new. And Father, I pray for the wounds I did not even know were wounds. The ones I have carried for so long they have become part of how I see myself. The shame I mistook for humility, the guilt I confused with conscience, the silence I accepted as strength. Unravel those lies gently. Show me the difference between who I truly am and who pain has tried to make me. Show me that I am not too far gone, not too damaged, not too complex for healing. Show me that the healing you offer is not partial, not conditional, not rushed. It is complete. It is sacred. It is enough. Teach me to cooperate with the process, even when it is uncomfortable. Give me the courage to revisit what I have avoided, the wisdom to know when to rest, the grace to move slowly, the clarity to release what no longer serves me. Surround me with truth so steady it silences every voice of condemnation. Place people in my life who speak life, not shame, who hold space, not judgment, who mirror your gentleness when I forget how to extend it to myself. And in this healing, let me rediscover joy. Let me find beauty in places I thought were barren. Let laughter come easier. Let tears fall without fear. Let peace be more than a distant concept. It can be the pulse of my life. Let compassion grow from the places where I have been hurt. Let me not waste the pain, but allow it to deepen my empathy, expand my kindness, and refine my purpose. Let me become someone who carries healing, not just receives it. Father, I know this may take time, and that is okay. I am not here for quick fixes. I am here for transformation, for redemption, for the slow, holy work of becoming whole. I will not rush what you are doing. I will not compare my healing to someone else's timeline. I will stay present, even when it is messy, even when it is quiet, even when nothing seems to be changing, because I trust that healing is happening beneath the surface. I trust that you are always at work, even when I do not feel it. I trust that you are faithful to complete what you have started. And so I breathe deep. I allow the pain to rise, not to consume me, but to be released. I choose to stop pretending, to stop performing, to stop pushing down what needs light. I choose to bring it to you, moment by moment, breath by breath. I choose to believe that healing is not only possible, but promised, not only available, but already in motion. And I choose to stay with you in it, for as long as it takes. Father, even as I embrace the slow and sacred work of healing, I recognize that some valleys are not left behind in an instant. Some are walked through, step by trembling step, over days, weeks, even years. And in this moment, I admit that part of me hoped healing would mean avoiding the valley altogether. I wanted wholeness to lift me out of the shadows, to carry me over the pain and into immediate light. But you, in your mercy, are not rushing me. You are walking with me, even through the places I never wanted to enter in the first place. And somehow, I am beginning to understand that your presence in the valley is the very gift I never knew I needed. Lord, you never promised me a life free of sorrow. You never said that following you would exempt me from hardship. But you did promise to stay. You did promise to lead me through, not leave me in. And as I face the landscape of this day, the quiet weight that still clings to my chest, the questions I still carry with no clear answers, lean on that promise. You are not the light at the end of the valley. You are the light within it. You are here now, in the middle of uncertainty, in the middle of grief, in the middle of fatigue. You are not waiting for me on the other side. You are beside me in every step. Sometimes, the valley is a season, long and silent. Other times, it is a single moment, a phone call, a memory, a trigger that sends me spiraling. Sometimes it is just the dull ache of disappointment, or the fear that maybe I am not as strong as I hoped I would be by now. And yet, with each step I take through this shadowed path, you are reshaping me, not into someone who pretends to be okay, but into someone who is anchored in truth even when nothing feels okay. You are teaching me that perseverance is not about pretending not to feel pain, and it is about walking anyway. Crying, if I must, pausing when I need to, but always walking. Always trusting. God, I do not want to stay in this place longer than I need to, but I also do not want to rush past what you are trying to do in me here. If there is something to learn in this low place, teach me. If there is beauty hidden in this stretch of difficulty, help me see it. If there is strength being built in these quiet, broken hours, let me not despise the process. I know you are not wasting a single tear, a single sleepless night, a single whispered prayer spoken when hope felt too far away. You are gathering every piece and working them into a greater story, one I may not understand yet, but one that you already see in full. Give me grace, Lord, for the days when the valley feels endless, when progress feels invisible, when I am tired of saying I am okay because it is easier than explaining the H. On those days, be the comfort I do not know how to ask for. Be the peace that sits with me even when nothing makes sense. Be the one who does not need me to explain, just invites me to breathe. Let my faith be real in the valley, not performative, not loud, just steady, just enough to wake up and say, I am still here. I am still believing. And Father, remind me that valleys are not curses. They are places where roots go deeper, where truth becomes more than theory, where dependence becomes lifeblood. They are places where pride is peeled away and authenticity rises, where distractions fall quiet and your voice is easier to hear. I may not welcome the valley, but I welcome what you do in me through it. I welcome the gentleness you develop when my own strength runs dry. I welcome the compassion you grow in me for others who walk their own low roads. I welcome the softness that comes from being broken in safe hands. Let me walk through this valley without comparison, without looking at someone else's journey and wondering why mine feels heavier or longer or harder. Let me keep my eyes on you, not on timelines. Let me listen for your footsteps beside me, not the noise of fear behind me. Let me measure this season not by how quickly I escape it, but by how deeply I allow you to shape me through it. And while I am here, Lord, remind me that joy is not suspended until I reach the end, that even here, light filters through, that even here, laughter can find me, that even here, beauty can surprise me. Let me not miss the moments of grace that exist even in this in-between space, the kindness of a friend, the stillness of a morning like this one, the flicker of peace in a quiet breath. These are not small things. They are sacred signs that you are still with me, still providing, still surrounding me in ways I can feel if I slow down long enough to notice. God, you walk with me through this valley not to test me, but to remind me that I was never meant to walk alone. When I grow weary, carry me. When I lose my way, guide me. When I forget what is true, speak it again until I remember. And when the shadows grow long, be the light that never leaves. Let my pace be yours, not hurried by pressure or slowed by despair. Let my heart trust that even when I can trace the path, I can trust the one who leads. So I will keep walking, one breath at a time, one prayer at a time, one small act of faith at a time. I will not pretend to be further along than I am. I will simply be here, in this moment, with you, and I will trust that even in the valley, something holy is happening. Something deep, something lasting, something that cannot be undone by fear or loss or delay. You are making something of me here, and though I may not see it yet, I choose to believe it. I choose to keep going. I choose to walk with you, even here. Especially here. Father, as I continue walking through the valleys with you beside me, I begin to notice how you are still providing even here in ways I had not expected, in moments I almost overlooked. You are not only the God of mountaintops and breakthroughs. You are the God who feeds me in dry places, who fills my soul when the outer world feels empty. You are the quiet provider, the one who whispers, not shouts, the one who places what I need in front of me, even when I forget how to ask. And today, I pause to see it, to feel it, to receive it with a heart that is still learning to believe that I do not have to earn your kindness. Lord, you know what I need better than I do. You see past the requests I put into words and into the longings I do not even fully understand. You meet not just my physical needs, but the hidden ones, the need to feel safe, the need to be seen, the need to be sustained when I am too tired to sustain myself. And you do it so gently, not with drama or force, but with subtle grace. Conversation I did not know I needed, a sunrise that quiets the H, a verse that speaks directly into my unrest. You are always providing, always giving, always pouring out even when I am too preoccupied with survival to notice. God, sometimes I come to you expecting the dramatic. I wait for signs written in the sky or answers delivered in lightning. But more often than not, you come through in whispers, in steady, faithful ways that seem small until I slow down enough to trace your hand. The breath in my lungs this morning, the fact that I opened my eyes and had a reason to rise, the provision that showed up yesterday just in time, the grace that held me when I did not think I would make it. These are not coincidences. They are evidence. Evidence that you are with me, caring for me, and always enough. I confess, Lord, that I sometimes confuse abundance with excess. I look for overflow and miss the miracle of enough. But you are teaching me that daily bread is holy, that having just what I need for today is not lack, it is faith. It is trust that I do not have to stockpile peace or hoard joy. You will provide it again tomorrow, just as you do now, just as you have always done. You are not a distant provider, dropping blessings from afar. You are near, attentive, aware of every detail of my day, already placing what I will need along the path I have not yet walked. Father, open my eyes to see provision differently. Let me recognize it not just in answers, but in presence. Not just in resolution, but in resilience. Provide me with perspective that lifts me out of fear. Provide strength that rises quietly when mine runs low. Provide wisdom when my thoughts feel clouded. Provide rest when my mind races. Provide connection where I feel isolated. Provide laughter that reminds me I am still alive, still capable of joy. Provide peace not as the absence of trouble, but as the awareness of you in the middle of it all. And Lord, as you provide for me, teach me to trust you with what I do not see. There are prayers I have spoken for years, answers that still feel far off, provisions that seem delayed. In those places, let my trust deepen rather than fray. Let waiting become worship. Let hope become my anchor. Let unanswered not mean unloved. You are not ignoring me. You are aligning things I cannot yet comprehend. You are weaving details I cannot yet imagine. And in the meantime, you are sustaining me one quiet provision at a time. Help me to live open-handed, not grasping or guarded. Let me not miss the gift in front of me while longing for what is next. Let me not measure today by what is missing, but by what has been mercifully given. Even the breath in my body is evidence that you are still working, still holding me, still providing for what matters most, and in moments of scarcity, whether material, emotional, or spiritual, let me remember that your resources are not limited by mine. Where I see not enough, you see opportunity. Where I see empty, you see space to fill. You are not bound by time or tiredness or lack. You are faithful. And in that faithfulness, Lord, let me find the courage to ask again, not because I am demanding, but because I am learning to trust you as Father, not just as King. You invite me to ask. You do not withhold out of irritation or indifference. You give freely, generously, wisely. So I ask not just for the visible needs, but for the deeper ones. Provide healing in the places that still hurt. Provide clarity where confusion lingers. Provide grace where shame still whispers. Provide patience where I am restless. Provide a deeper awareness of your nearness, especially when I feel disconnected from everything else. And Father, make me a vessel of your provision for others. As you care for me, let me be attentive to where I can care for someone else. Let me notice who is hungry, not just for food, but for kindness. Let me give without calculation. Let me serve without expectation. Let me love without needing credit. Let me be someone through whom your provision flows, not someone who hoards what was meant to move. Bless me so that I may bless. Fill me so that I may pour out. Teach me the rhythm of receiving and releasing, holding and handing over, gathering and giving away. Let this morning be a turning point in how I see what it means to be cared for. Let it redefine what enough means. Let it undo every lie that told me I have to earn love, hustle for peace, or fight to feel secure. Let it sink into my bones that you are the one who knows what I need and delights in giving it. You are the provider who whispers before you shout, who prepares the table before I even know I am hungry, who places provision in the exact place I will need it, long before I arrive. So I breathe again. Lighter, I carry this day not with dread, but with expectation, not because everything is perfect, but because you are present, and your presence is provision. It is the whisper in the wind, the steady rhythm in my chest, the reminder that I will never walk one step without you going before me, beside me, and within me. And that truth is the nourishment I need most. That truth is enough for today. Father, now that I have begun to recognize the quiet ways you provide, even in seasons of emptiness, I feel you inviting me to something more, something deeper, not only to rest in your provision, but to begin again, to rebuild what has been broken, to gather the scattered pieces of who I was and place them into your hands, not just for safekeeping, but for renewal. Because even though I have lost things along the way, time, opportunities, relationships, confidence, hope, I am learning that nothing is beyond your ability to restore. No ruin is too far gone for your presence to inhabit. No ending is too final for you to rewrite. Lord, you see what has been taken from me. You see the dreams that dried up before they had the chance to grow. You see the chapters of my life that ended before I was ready to close them. You see the fractures, the falls, the failures that left behind the quiet conclusion. Maybe that part of my story is over. Maybe that door is shut for good. But in this stillness with you, I hear another possibility. I hear that this is not the end, that there is rebuilding ahead, not a return to what was, but a recreation of what can be. And that, Father, is the kind of restoration I long for. You are not the God of shortcuts or surface repairs. You do not patch things together with fragile glue and send me back into the world pretending everything is fine. You rebuild with purpose. You restore with depth. You go beneath what I show others and into what only you see. And where I see wreckage, you see a foundation. You kneel beside the ruins of what I lost and whisper that this is where something new can begin. Not because I earned a second chance, but because you are the God of resurrection. You bring beauty from ashes, life from dust, hope from hopelessness. So I bring you what I have, the remnants, the fragments, the parts of me that feel too small to matter and too broken to be useful. I offer them without condition, without editing, and I trust that you will breathe into them what I never could, that you will build from them a future I did not dare to imagine, that you will restore not what I demand, but what is best, what will make me whole, not just happy, what will reflect your love, not just my desires. Father, rebuild my faith where it has been shaken. Restore my ability to trust without fear of disappointment. Show me that believing again is not foolishness, it is courage. Rebuild my confidence not in my own strength, but in your steady hand. Teach me to step forward, even if my legs are still shaking, even if the memory of the fall is fresh, even if I am afraid of failing again. Remind me that trying again is not weakness, it is an act of hope, a declaration that loss does not define me. Rebuild my joy where it was lost in sorrow. Let it rise not as a shallow smile, but as a deep, rooted gladness that knows pain yet chooses gratitude. Let it grow slowly if it must, but let it grow. Let it return like spring after a long winter, subtle at first, then undeniable. Let it surprise me again with its resilience, its warmth, its ability to shine even through the cracks. Rebuild my purpose where it became tangled in distraction or despair. Realign my heart with what matters most. Show me that my calling is not behind me, but unfolding in this very moment. That every season I have walked through, especially the hard ones, have shaped me for what is next. Let nothing be wasted, not the grief, not the waiting, not the confusion. Let it all be used in your rebuilding. Let it all become part of the testimony you are still writing through me. And Lord, in this process of rebuilding, give me patience, because rebuilding takes time. And I admit, I want results quickly. I want restoration to look like instant clarity. Sudden breakthroughs, neatly packaged resolutions. But you rarely move that way. You move like a wise builder, layering foundation before framework, structure before surface. You build with permanence in mind, not just appearance. Help me to stay in step with you, to not rush the work, to not abandon the site halfway through, to trust that what you are building is worth the wait. If old relationships are meant to be restored, guide that process with tenderness and wisdom. If new relationships are being formed in the ashes of old ones, give me eyes to see them as gifts, not replacements. If there are dreams you are resurrecting, help me hold them with open hands, not to control them, but to nurture them with faith. And if some things are not meant to return, help me release them with grace, knowing that loss in you is never the end of the story. You are the Redeemer, and redemption is not only about recovering what was lost, it is about receiving something greater, something deeper, something shaped by mercy and molded by grace. I want to live in that truth. I want to stop measuring my life by what I lack and start rejoicing in what you are making new. Let rebuilding be my posture, not just my prayer. Let it guide how I speak to myself, how I plan for the future, how I respond to setbacks. Let it reshape how I see this very moment, not as a pause in progress, but as part of the process. Father, if you are rebuilding, then I will not live as one abandoned. I will not act like hope has left me. I will not let despair be louder than your promises. I will plant my feet in faith. I will lift my eyes to the horizon. I will keep showing up heart open, hands willing, soul ready, ready to be shaped, ready to be stretched, ready to be restored. And when discouragement whispers that nothing is changing, help me remember that some of the most beautiful structures rise slowly, that some of the most lasting things grow in silence, that what you build is not rushed, it is refined. And I am being refined too, with every surrender, every prayer, every quiet decision to keep trusting. A new thing is taking form. I may not see the full picture yet, but I see the outlines. I see the hope taking shape. I see the foundation you are forming under my feet. And I will keep building with you. I will place one stone of faith upon another. One breath, one act of obedience, one choice to hope again, until what was once broken becomes the very place where your glory rests, until what I thought was lost becomes the soil where something greater grows. Father, as you continue to rebuild what was lost, I feel you lifting my gaze, calling me not only to stand among the ruins with hope, but to begin walking forward with honor. It is hard to admit that I have grown used to the ashes, that over time, the weight of sorrow, failure, or regret became part of my identity. I wore the dust of disappointment like a covering, not knowing how to take it off. But now, in the light of your mercy, I sense you exchanging what has settled on me with something I never thought I could carry again: dignity, joy, purpose, a crown, not as a symbol of pride, but of redemption, a gentle, holy reversal. Lord, I have spent seasons of my life defining myself by what was broken. I have carried labels I never chose and accepted limitations that were never part of your design for me. Pain told me I was unworthy. Shame whispered I would always be lacking. Loss convinced me that I was not enough to hold anything sacred again. But you, Father, are undoing those agreements. You are removing the ashes and placing something beautiful in their place. Not because I earned it, but because you are good. You do not just forgive, you restore. You do not just clean up the mess, you crown what was crushed. I know I am not returning to who I used to be, and that is a good thing. I am being made new, not a polished version of the past, but a living testament to grace. I am no longer wearing the garments of grief. You are dressing me in joy. I am no longer hiding beneath the weight of what did not work, what fell apart, what seemed like the end. You are declaring that it was never the end. It was the ground where new things begin. Father, help me walk in this identity you are giving me. Teach me how to carry this crown not with arrogance, but with awareness, aware that I belong to you, that I am called, seen, and chosen not because I am flawless, but because I am yours. Help me shed the false humility that refuses to receive your goodness. Let me no longer apologize for healing. Let me no longer shrink back from being whole. Let me walk with quiet confidence, knowing that everything beautiful in me has come through your hands. Let this crown remind me of who I am. Let it quiet the voices that still try to pull me back into the dust. Let it silence the old patterns that tempt me to live small, to settle, to stay hidden. I am not a prisoner of my past. I am not a product of my pain. I am a child of promise, clothed in beauty, crowned with compassion, anointed with purpose. And I will wear that identity even on the days I do not feel it fully. I will walk in it even when I am trembling, because it is not about how I feel, it is about what you have declared over me. God, help me to speak differently because of this crown. Let my words build, not break, heal, not harm, encourage, not burden. Let my speech carry the fragrance of grace, the weight of wisdom, and the gentleness of someone who knows what it is like to sit in the ashes, and who also knows what it means to be lifted from them. Let my voice no longer echo the bitterness I have shed, but the kindness I have received. Help me love from this place of wholeness. Let me not withhold affection out of fear. Let me not guard myself so tightly that I miss the chance to truly connect. Help me trust again, forgive again, hope again. Let the healing that has taken root in me become the overflow that touches others. Let my life become a reminder that redemption is not just a concept, is a reality. And it is available to all who are willing to let you lift their face from the ground. Father, I thank you for the beauty that rises from brokenness, for the unexpected joy that can emerge even after deep sorrow, for the way you never waste the tears, the loss, or the time. Nothing surrendered to you ever disappears, it is transformed. You take the parts of me I thought were beyond repair and shape them into places of strength. You take the disappointments I thought would always define me and use them as stepping stones into a life I did not know I could live. Let this newness shape how I show up today. Let me walk like someone who knows they are loved. Let me move through this world not trying to prove myself, but simply reflecting the grace I have received. Let me be at peace in my own skin. Let me see the value in others, even those who have hurt me. Let me extend the same invitation to them to rise, to be free, to be made new. Let my life preach without a microphone. Let my presence carry the quiet authority of a soul that has been redeemed. And when the old wounds whisper, again when they try to remind me of who I was or what I lost, let this crown be my reminder. Let it be the symbol I return to, not a visible one, but a truth etched into the way I carry myself. A crown is not about attention. It is about identity. It is about walking as someone who has been lifted, restored, and appointed not for personal glory, but for divine purpose. So I receive this exchange fully, ashes for beauty, mourning for joy, brokenness for restoration. I refuse to live as though I am still trapped in yesterday's pain. I choose to live as someone rising today, not in denial of what I have walked through, but in honor of what you have brought me through. I choose to believe that the crown you have placed on me is not temporary or symbolic, is rooted in your word, grounded in your love, and sealed by your grace. Father, let this be the beginning of something different in me. Let it mark a shift not just in how I see you, but in how I see myself. Let it affect my thoughts, my choices, my posture, Let it be reflected in how I carry the day ahead. Because I am not who I was. I am not stuck in what happened. I am not defined by what I lost. I am crowned by what you have given. And I will wear it not with pride, but with deep, quiet gratitude. The kind that flows from a life touched by resurrection. A life made whole again. A life that walks forward, no longer in the dust, but in the beauty only you can create. Father, now that I have received this crown of restoration, not as something I earned, but as a gift of grace, I sense you asking me to rise fully into the light, to no longer just wear what you have given in quiet reverence, but to walk boldly in the identity you have spoken over me, not to draw attention, but to reflect your goodness, not to seek approval, but to live as someone who knows they are already loved. You are calling me out of the shadows, not because I was wrong to rest there while I healed, but because I am ready now to step forward, to live in the light of who you have made me to be. Lord, I have spent much of my life shrinking under the weight of self-doubt, holding back my voice out of fear I might get it wrong, dimming what you placed in me because I was unsure it was enough. I mistook hiding for humility. I confused silence with safety. But you have been patient with me. You have waited while I unlearned the lie that said boldness and pride are the same thing. You have been whispering truth through the cracks, gently drawing me towards something fuller, something freer. And now, I feel you saying, step into it, not with performance, not with pressure, but with peace. So I take this step, God, not with a shout, but with steady resolve. Let me stand in your light not just for comfort, but for calling. Let it shine through me, not so others see me, but so they see you. Let your light expose what is true. Let it refine me when I start to slip back into old patterns. Let it soften the sharp edges I have built to protect myself. Let it warm what grew cold in the long stretch of waiting. I do not fear your light. It does not burn me, it frees me. It clarifies what matters and makes everything more real. In your light, I remember who I am. In your light, I am not afraid. Father, help me carry this light into places that still feel dim, into conversations that need grace, into decisions that need clarity, into environments that often feel heavy or divided or full of striving. Let the light within me shift the atmosphere around me. Let it invite honesty, calm, and hope. Let it bring peace without needing to explain it. Let it speak even when I am quiet. Let it say, without words, that I have been with you. I want to live like someone who knows they have been changed, not in perfection, but in posture, with my eyes lifted, with my shoulders no longer slumped under shame, with my steps steady, even if I still feel a little uncertain. You never said confidence comes from knowing everything. You said it comes from knowing you, and I do, maybe not as much as I want to, maybe not as deeply as I will, but I know enough to follow your light. I know enough to stop hiding when you are calling me to stand. God, if there is something you have placed in me that the world needs, then help me not keep it buried. If there is a word, a gift, a perspective, a presence that was shaped in the silence of my healing. Then give me the courage to bring it into the open, not to be seen, but to serve, not to impress, but to illuminate. There is enough darkness in the world. Let my life make it a little brighter. Let what I have walked through light the way for someone else who is still in the middle of their valley. Let me be a reminder that light always comes again, even if slowly. And Lord, protect me as I walk in this light, not from difficulty, but from distraction. Keep my heart pure. Let me never mistake the source of this glow. Let me never try to produce it on my own. Your light is not a performance, it is a presence. And I only carry it because you dwell in me. So I will guard that dwelling place. I will tend to the quiet parts of my soul, even while I stand in public places. I will retreat to the secret place often, because that is where the flame is tended. That is where the light is fed. Let this light influence how I see others too. Help me not to project shadows of judgment or comparison. Help me not to withdraw when others shine. Help me to celebrate what you are doing in their lives without questioning my own. We are not competing. We are co-laborers. We are candles from the same fire, flickers from the same source. Help me build others up. Call out the gold in them. Reflect your light back to them when they forget who they are. Let me be one who multiplies the light not with noise, but with presence, not with ego, but with love. Father, standing in the light does not mean I will never struggle again. It does not mean I am finished growing. It means I refuse to let shame pull me backward. It means I trust you enough to be visible, to let my story breathe in the open air, to let my heart beat in full color. You did not pull me out of the ashes to watch me hide behind them. You crowned me for a reason. You rebuilt me so that I could carry something forward. Something good. Something real. Something yours. Let this day be marked by that light. Let it start in my words and how I speak to myself and to others. Let it move through my choices and how I show up even when it is hard. Let it settle in my thoughts and how I respond when doubt creeps in. Let it guide my hands in how I work, serve, and build. Let it shape my heart in how I trust, how I hope, how I love. Let your light be the rhythm I move to, the voice I listen for, the safety I lean on. I know the world won't always understand it. I know there may be moments when I am misunderstood, moments when it would be easier to dim the light just to fit in. But remind me then of what I know now, that your light is not something I have to protect. It is something that protects me. It lights my path, reveals my purpose, and leads me home. It is not a burden to carry. It is the evidence that I have been with you, and that is enough. So I will stand, I will walk, I will shine not to prove anything, but because I have been made new, and because what you have done in me deserves to be seen. Let this light go before me. Let it remain behind me. Let it stay within me, and let it draw others not to me, but to you. Because you are the source, you are the fire, you are the reason I no longer hide in shadows. You are the one who calls me out, calls me up, and calls me into a life fully lived in the light. Lord, Now that I have stepped out into the light with confidence in who you have created me to be, I find myself looking toward the path ahead with a renewed sense of courage, but also with a quiet acknowledgement of my need for strength. Because even as the light grows, the road stretches long, and I know that this journey will demand something deeper from me, not just resilience, but a daily reliance on you. What you have begun in me is not a single moment of clarity, but an unfolding walk of purpose. And I want to walk it well, with both hands open and both feet firm. God, as I place one foot in front of the other, I ask for your strength to sustain me, not the kind the world measures by noise or dominance, but the kind that runs beneath the surface like an underground river, steady and unshakable. I do not seek to be admired for being strong. I long only to be faithful, to keep going when it would be easier to give up, to keep trusting when answers feel distant, to keep loving when it stretches me thin. You are my strength, and you offer it not as a reward for my effort, but as a promise for my dependence. Father, when the road rises and becomes steep, remind me that I do not climb alone. You are beside me, and even more than that, you are within me. Let that awareness become the rhythm of my pace. Let it silence the voices that tell me I should be further along, that I should have it all together by now. You are not rushing me. You are shaping me. You are far more interested in who I am becoming than how fast I arrive. So I will walk at the speed of grace, trusting that your timing is perfect and that every delay has a divine purpose I may not yet understand. When I grow tired, God, teach me to rest without guilt. Show me that rest is not a pause from progress, but part of your design for growth. Let my moments of stillness be filled with your presence, not with anxious thoughts about falling behind. The world runs on urgency, but you move in peace. And I want to move with you, not in burnout, but in balance, not in striving, but in surrender. Help me find the sacred in the slow, the holy in the quiet, the strength in simply staying with you, even when I feel like I should be doing more. Lord, some days the road is filled with resistance, not from outside, but from within. Thoughts of inadequacy try to creep in, whispering that I am not equipped, not enough, not ready. But I choose to confront those lies with truth. I am equipped because you are my source. I am enough because I am yours. I am ready because you go before me. My strength does not come from what I see, but from who I believe you to be. You are unshaken. You are unwavering. You are the one who lifts my chin when I forget to stand tall. You are the one who holds me steady when the ground beneath me shifts. God, give me strength not just for myself, but for others too. Let my courage be contagious. Let the way I rise from setbacks give others permission to rise as well. Let the way I carry my burdens with honesty, not with pretense, inspire others to believe that they, too, can keep going. Let my presence bring a kind of calm that does not demand perfection, but invites persistence. Let me be someone who walks with others in their valleys, not with easy answers, but with steady presence. Because strength is not just standing alone, it is walking together, even when the way is hard. Father, there may be moments when the journey feels lonely, when it seems no one quite understands the weight I carry, or the questions I hold. But even then, you are near. Even then, you whisper in the silence. Let me be more aware of your nearness than of my lack. Let me lean into the quiet as a place of meeting. Not isolation when others drift. You remain. When words fall short, your spirit speaks. When I feel invisible, you see me completely. And in that knowing, I find strength to take another step, to keep showing up, to keep believing. There will be days when the path feels uncertain. Lord, when I cannot see clearly what comes next, when doors seem closed and answers seem distant. On those days, let trust be my compass. Let faith be my vision. I do not need to see the whole map. I only need to know that you hold it. You know where I am going, and you know what I need for each step. So help me stop trying to figure everything out and instead start listening more closely for your guidance. Sometimes strength looks like strategy, but sometimes it looks like stillness. I want to know the difference. I want to follow your lead. And when the road takes unexpected turns, when disappointment finds me or plans unravel, let my first instinct be to turn toward you, not away. Let me run to you not just for answers, but for anchoring, not for quick fixes, but for peace. Remind me that nothing surprises you, that even when I feel shaken, you are not, that even when things fall apart, your purpose remains. Give me the strength to hold space for both sorrow and hope, to grieve what is lost and still trust what is to come. You are the God of the detour, and no moment is wasted in your hands. Lord, may my strength be laced with tenderness. May it not harden me, but soften me. May it not isolate me, but connect me. May it not become a wall, but a well from which others can draw encouragement and hope. Let the strength you give me be evident, not in what I conquer, but in how I care, in how I listen, in how I love, in how I keep choosing light, even when it would be easier to go numb. Let it be a quiet resilience that does not need to prove itself, but bears witness to a God who never lets go. I do not ask for a life without challenges. Father, I only ask that you continue to make me strong through them. Strong in character, strong in compassion, strong in truth, strong in faith. Let the hard things form in me a deeper capacity for empathy. Let the stretching make me more open to others, not more closed. Let every obstacle become an altar. Let every trial become a testimony. Let every weakness become a window through which your strength can shine. And so I walk one step at a time, not always knowing what is ahead, but knowing who is with me, and that is enough. Because you are my strength, my steady place, my constant in the chaos, my light in the valley, my hope when I grow weary. You are the one who calls me forward when I feel stuck, the one who reminds me that progress is not always fast, but is always possible with you. You are the reason I keep going, the reason I lift my eyes when the road gets long, the reason I find beauty in the climb. And as long as you are near, I have all the strength I need. Father, in the quiet continuation of this journey with you, I begin to see more clearly how strength is not only about enduring what comes my way, but also about how I respond to those who walk alongside me. The deeper I go into the path you have called me to, the more I see how intricately connected we all are, each person a soul in need of grace, just like me. And in this realization, I feel you inviting me into a gentler posture, one that not only receives your love, but reflects it in the spaces where it is most needed. Lord, the world around me is full of voices demanding quick judgment and harsh opinions. It is easy to react rather than respond, to speak instead of listen, to assume instead of understand. But you, Lord, are patient. You are kind. You know the heart behind the behavior, the wound behind the words. So teach me to look at others through your lens, not through the filter of my frustration or pride. Help me to slow down and lean in with compassion. Let my interactions be seasoned with softness that holds truth without weaponizing it. God, when I meet someone who irritates me or challenges me, remind me that they too are made in your image. Let me pause before labeling, and instead offer the benefit of the doubt. Let me choose curiosity over criticism, and humility over superiority. So often, those who lash out are carrying invisible pain. So often, those who offend are repeating cycles they themselves were caught in. Give me eyes to see beneath the surface. Let me ask the better questions. Not what is wrong with them, but what might have hurt them. Not why are they like this, but how can I love them well anyway? Father, in my pursuit of kindness, do not let me confuse grace with enabling or silence with peacekeeping. There is strength in setting boundaries. There is wisdom in saying no. Teach me the balance of love and truth, of mercy and justice. Let me not become passive in the name of gentleness, but courageous in compassion. Let my love not be timid, but intentional. Let me show up for people without losing myself in their chaos. Let me speak the hard things when they are needed, but always with a heart that seeks healing, not harm. When I encounter moments of conflict, Lord, make me quick to listen and slow to speak. Help me resist the urge to defend or deflect, and instead respond with clarity and calm. Let my words be like water to a fire, not fuel. Let my tone carry the spirit of reconciliation, not accusation. And when I am the one who has caused hurt, help me own it. Help me apologize without excuses, and make things right with integrity. Show me that peace is not the absence of tension, but the presence of truth walked out in love. God, there are days when my grace for others runs thin, when fatigue clouds my patience and stress shortens my fuse. On those days, help me start again. Let me return to the well of your compassion and draw deeply. Let me remember how often you have forgiven me, how endlessly you extend mercy even when I falter. Let me not be so focused on being right that I forget how to be kind. Let my identity be rooted not in always having the answer, but in being someone safe to be around. Someone who honors others not because they deserve it, but because I am anchored in you. Father, while I long to extend grace to others, I also recognize how desperately I need it for myself. The inner critic can be relentless, rehearsing mistakes and replaying regrets. But you do not speak with condemnation. You lead me with kindness. When I fall short, you do not abandon me, you draw near. You correct me with gentleness. You remind me that growth is not always linear and healing is not always fast. So help me offer myself the same grace I try to give to others. Help me speak to myself the way you speak to me, with love that does not ignore truth, but always leads back to hope. There are moments when I feel like I should have already learned the lesson, already conquered the habit, already arrived at a better version of myself. But you are not in a hurry with me. You see every misstep as part of the shaping, every detour as part of the journey. And in that, I find freedom. The freedom to keep trying. The freedom to not get it perfect. The freedom to believe that what you have started in me, you will complete not through pressure, but through your patient hand. Lord, help me carry grace like an atmosphere around me, not just as a reaction to wrongs. Let it be the way I walk, the way I speak, the way I think about others. Let my presence communicate. You are safe here. You are valued. You are not alone. Let me be the kind of person whose calm steadies the room, not because I never feel chaos inside, but because I have learned to bring that chaos to you first. Because I have learned that peace begins not by changing the world, but by surrendering my own heart. Even when others disappoint me or betray my trust, God, help me remember that grace does not mean returning to toxic places or tolerating abuse. Grace can mean walking away without bitterness. It can mean forgiving without reopening wounds. Teach me to forgive with wisdom and to love without losing discernment. Let me leave justice in your hands and trust that you see all things and make all things right in your time. Father, remind me that every act of grace, no matter how small, is never wasted. A kind word can soften a hardened heart. A second chance can ignite change. A moment of understanding can heal years of hurt. And even when I do not see the fruit right away, help me believe that love planted in faith will grow in ways I may never witness. Let me love not for recognition, but from conviction. Let me serve not out of obligation, but out of overflow. And when I am tempted to withhold grace to keep score, to stay guarded, to harden my heart, soften me again. Lord, bring me back to that place where I remember how deeply I have been loved, how fiercely I have been pursued, how completely I have been forgiven. Let that remembrance stir something within me that cannot help but pour out grace on others. Let it be real, not forced. Let it be strong, not sentimental. Let it be the evidence of a heart continually touched by yours. So today, I choose to move through the world not with clenched fists, but with open hands. To meet others not with suspicion, but with curiosity. To listen longer, speak less, and love more deeply. Not because it is always easy, but because it is always worth it. You are the God who meets us in our brokenness and lifts us up not just once, but again and again. May I reflect that divine patience, that holy kindness, that unwavering grace in the way I live, the way I love, and the way I walk forward with you. Lord, as I rise once more with the breath you have given me, I bring you the remnants of yesterday, the parts of me that fell short, the moments I regret, the words I wish I had spoken differently, the silence I wish I had filled with love. I bring all that was unfinished, unhealed, or unclear, and I lay it in your hands not as a burden to be punished, but as a prayer to be renewed. You are the God who makes all things new. And so I ask you to make this day a canvas for redemption. God, as I reflect on the path I have walked, I realize how often I hesitate to start over. I carry the weight of old failures like a badge of shame, as if they define my capacity to grow. But you see things differently. You are not tallying my missteps. You are cultivating my return. Every time I turn my face back toward you, you welcome me not with rebuke, but with arms wide open. Not with reminders of what I did wrong, but with whispers of who I still am to you. Father, give me the courage to begin again, not just in the grand gestures of life, but in the small, quiet choices that no one sees. Let me try one more time to respond with kindness when I feel impatient. Let me reach again for hope when fear tries to suffocate it. Let me step forward once more into forgiveness, even when bitterness tries to pull me back. Let me trust you with the very places I once thought were ruined beyond repair. Because if you are still present, then nothing is too broken to begin anew. There are days when I feel like progress is impossible, when the old patterns resurface and the old voices return. They tell me nothing will change, that I am who I have always been, and that I will fail just like before. But you, Lord, are the voice that breaks through the noise. You remind me that I am not a prisoner of my past. You remind me that each morning holds fresh mercy, and with that mercy comes the power to rise differently than I did the day before. Help me remember that beginnings do not have to be loud. Sometimes they look like getting out of bed when despair says there is no point. Sometimes they sound like a soft yes to something I once feared. Sometimes they feel like silence instead of anger, or presence instead of distraction. Teach me to honor the quiet resilience of beginning again, not because everything is fixed, because my heart is still willing. Lord, give me the strength to forgive myself for the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to change what I still can. Let me not dwell in regret, but instead learn from it, bringing those lessons forward as seeds of wisdom. Let me not waste time trying to rewrite what was, but instead write something more honest with what is. Show me how to turn even my stumbles into steps of faith, not perfectly, but purposefully. Let me move forward not with pressure, but with peace. God, I also bring to you the beginnings I fear, the conversations I have delayed because I did not know how to start, the dreams I have buried because I was afraid to fail, the parts of my heart that long to heal, but do not know where to begin. Show me how to start anyway. Show me that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to trust you in the face of it. Let me start small. Start slow. Start trembling if I must, but let me start. There is something sacred in the act of beginning again. It is not weakness to try once more. It is strength. It is not foolishness to hope again. It is faith. The world may mock what it does not understand, but you rejoice over the ones who dare to rise after falling. So help me stop measuring my worth by how far I have come and instead celebrate that I am still walking, still trying, still here. Let that be enough for today. When the path ahead feels long or uncertain, remind me that I do not walk alone. You are not waiting at the finish line. You are beside me in every shaky step. Let that truth steady my heart. Let it quiet my anxiety. Let it anchor me when everything else feels unsure. Because if you are with me, then even the smallest beginning is already blessed. Even the most fragile attempt is already seen. Even the slowest progress is still progress in your eyes. Lord, help me be gentle with myself in this process. Let me extend to myself the grace I so easily offer others. Let me speak to my own soul with the kindness I would give a child learning to walk. Remind me that growth is not always visible at first, that sometimes the roots go deeper before anything blossoms above ground. Help me trust that you are at work even when I cannot yet see the evidence. As I begin again today, may I carry humility in one hand and hope in the other. Humility to know that I still have much to learn. Hope to believe that the best is not behind me. Let me step into this day not trying to impress anyone, not trying to outrun my past, but simply being present to what is here. Open my eyes to the beauty in the process. Let me find joy not only in the outcome, but in the choosing, in the trying, in the daily yes to keep going. Even in the presence of setbacks, remind me that the story is not over. That one moment of failure does not erase the entire journey. That one bad day does not undo the progress made. Let me hold perspective like a lantern in the dark, illuminating the truth that there is more ahead. Let me believe that what feels like an ending may actually be a disguised beginning, waiting to unfold in your perfect timing. And if today is the day that someone I love needs to begin again too, let me be a voice of encouragement. Let me not shame them for where they have been, but celebrate the courage it takes to return. Let my presence create room for others to breathe, to confess, to hope. Let me walk beside them without judgment, knowing that I too have needed grace more times than I can count. Let me cheer for their healing, honor their progress, and remind them they are never alone in the starting over. So Lord, in all the places where I have been afraid to begin again, in relationships, in faith, in creativity, in discipline, in rest, I give you my trembling yes. I give you my unsure hands, my weary feet, my open heart. And I trust that whatever starts with you will not end in vain. You are the author of all new things, the maker of all fresh beginnings. And if today is the first step, or the 100th restart, it is still held by you, and that is enough. Father, in the quiet unfolding of this new morning, I return to you again with the same heart that whispered yes to beginning anew. And now, as I step further along this path, I recognize that not every moment will feel clear, and not every answer will come quickly. Sometimes, it is not the starting over that is hardest, it is the not knowing what comes next. Yet even in this, you are present, steadying my spirit with peace that surpasses understanding. Lord, I confess how easily I reach for certainty. I long for neat conclusions and visible outcomes. I want to know how it all fits, how each trial will resolve, how each delay will lead to something worthwhile. But you rarely offer blueprints. You invite trust. You call me not to figure everything out, but to follow step by step, breath by breath, leaning not on my own understanding, but on the truth of your heart. God, you have never failed me. though my eyes have sometimes failed to see it. When doors closed that I desperately wanted open, you were shielding me. When silence lingered longer than I expected, you were still speaking, just not in the ways I imagined. When plans crumbled that I thought were perfect, you were leading me towards something truer. Let me remember that now, in this space between what I know and what I hope. Teach me to rest in your sovereignty, even when I do not understand your timing. When answers do not arrive and clarity feels distant, help me to hold fast to who you are. You are not a God of confusion. You are not withholding to punish me. You are unfolding things in your perfect rhythm, even if that rhythm feels slow to my anxious soul. Let me trust that every waiting season is doing more within me than I can comprehend in the moment. Father, I lift to you the things I cannot explain, the unanswered prayers, the unexpected detours, the ache of what feels unresolved. I bring you the questions that wake me in the night and the longing that sits quietly behind my smile. I offer you the confusion that sometimes clouds my confidence and the fear that tries to whisper lies in your silence. I do not need to pretend to understand. I only need to remain near you. Let me choose trust over control. Let me surrender my desire to fix, predict, or manage, and instead open my hands to receive the grace of this moment. Help me remember that understanding is not a prerequisite for peace, that I do not need all the details to move forward, that faith is often found in the not knowing and walking with you, even when the path is obscured by fog and all I can see is the step right in front of me. Sometimes, Lord, I feel ashamed for doubting. I wonder if my questions disappoint you. But you are not threatened by my uncertainty. You are not distant when I wrestle. You are closer than ever when my heart is aching for answers. You hold space for my questions and still call me beloved. Let that truth soften the hardness of my fear. Let it remind me that trust is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to keep showing up anyway. Father, help me stop trying to explain what you have never asked me to explain. Help me stop trying to make sense of every pain before I allow myself to heal. Let me not build walls around my heart in the name of logic. Let me not miss the beauty you are forming, because I am too focused on understanding the why. Your ways are higher than mine, your wisdom deeper, your perspective infinite. And that is not a reason to fear, it is a reason to rest. When I look around and see others moving forward while I feel stuck, help me not compare. Their path is not my path. Their pace is not my pace. Remind me that I am not behind, I am exactly where you want me to be for what you are forming in me. Let me trust that the unseen roots are strengthening, that growth is happening, even if no one claps for it, even if I can yet see the fruit. God, remind me today that trust looks like choosing joy before I see the breakthrough. It looks like worshiping when nothing has changed. It looks like showing up with consistency, even when progress is invisible. It looks like loving others when I feel empty. It looks like resting when I would rather strive. Trust is not passive, it is active surrender. And so I choose that today, again and again. I will choose it. Give me eyes to see the glimpses of you, even in the middle of uncertainty. In the warmth of sunlight through my window, in the unexpected text from a friend, in the stillness of early morning, in the breath I did not earn but get to receive. These are reminders that you are near, that you see me, that you are working even in the silence. Let me not miss your presence by demanding explanations. If trust means waiting longer than I would hoped, let me wait with wonder instead of bitterness. If it means releasing a plan I clung to, let me loosen my grip with grace. If it means walking into something new without a clear map, let me step forward with courage. Let my posture not be one of resignation, but of quiet confidence, knowing that I am not walking alone, and that nothing surrendered to you is ever wasted. Lord, in this moment, I bring you every part of my life that still feels unresolved. I name them silently in my heart, the ones that ache, the ones I keep hidden, the ones I have tried to fix on my own. I place them gently in your care, not because I have all the answers, but because I trust that you do, not because I see the way forward, but because you are the way. So let today be another day I practice this kind of trust, the deep, unshakable kind that does not demand proof, the kind that keeps going when everything inside wants to give up, the kind that holds onto you more tightly than it holds onto expectations, the kind that believes even the unknown can be holy ground when your presence is near. Let that trust define my steps today, in the smallest choices and the hidden places, and let it draw me closer to the peace that only you can give. Father, as my thoughts drift from the quiet courage of yesterday, I feel you gently ushering me into this day with the same tender persistence. There is no pressure in your presence, only invitation. No demand for perfection, only the call to walk beside you, even when the way forward remains hidden behind the veil of the unknown. What I do not see, you see clearly. What I cannot grasp, you hold with unwavering confidence. That alone steadies me, Lord. The unknown no longer feels like a threat when I remember who walks with me through it. It becomes a sacred space, a canvas for possibility, not a void of confusion. The more I release the need to predict every outcome, the more I discover the richness of trust. You have always been a God of mystery, not to confound, but to call me deeper. If everything were laid out before me, where would faith have room to grow? If every answer arrived before the question, where would the wonder live? God, you have never been a God of shortcuts. You are the God of process, of timing, of planting deep before the harvest arrives. I am learning that faithfulness is not in the arrival, but in the staying hopeful when nothing moves. Staying kind when the world grows harsh, staying soft when life invites hardness. Help me choose the posture of surrender again today, not once in grand gestures, but in the countless small decisions I face as the hours unfold. Teach me how to navigate this day with grace, especially the moments that offer no roadmap. Give me the strength to be present even when I long for answers. Let me greet uncertainty not with resistance, but with curiosity. Let my heart whisper yes to you again and again, not because I have clarity, but because I trust your character. You have been faithful before. That is enough reason to trust you now. There is a peculiar peace in not knowing, if I truly believe that you do. When I remember that, my clenched hands begin to open, my breath slows. The pressure to have it all figured out fades into something softer, like a sigh after a long day, like a melody that does not resolve but still sounds whole. This peace is not loud. It does not announce itself with thunder. It arrives quietly, resting in the space between fear and faith. Father, when the unknown stretches before me like an endless horizon, I ask for eyes that can see more than what is missing. Let me see the beauty in beginnings I did not plan. Let me notice the opportunities wrapped in detours. Let me recognize your fingerprints on the doors that closed, and your shadow beside me in the hallways of waiting. You are not only found in answers, you are found in the search. So let today not be about control. Let it be about communion. Let my efforts not aim for mastery, but for connection with you. If the only certainty I have today is that you are near, that is enough. If the only clarity is your goodness, then let it anchor me. Strip away the noise of overthinking. Quiet the spirals of doubt that crowd my thoughts. Speak calm into the chaos. Speak stillness into the storm. Help me to love well even when I feel lost, to give generously even when I feel unsure, to move gently through my own confusion so that I might become a place of peace for others. Use the unknown to grow empathy in me, not anxiety. Let it remind me how much we all walk roads we do not fully understand. Let me be slow to judge and quick to listen. Let the space where I lack answers become the place where I learn compassion. There is a holy kind of strength in saying I do not know, but still going forward. Let that be the anthem of this morning. I do not know what this day will hold, but I know who holds me. I do not know how it all fits together, but I know I am not forgotten in the mystery. I do not have to see the whole picture to take the next right step. So give me courage to move even if my steps are shaky, even if my heart is tender, even if my faith is only the size of a whisper. God, if today brings news I was not expecting, let me meet it with calm. If it brings silence where I long for response, let me fill that space with gratitude. If it brings delays, let them not dishearten me, but deepen my patience. If it brings joy, let me not rush through it, let me stay there. Linger, celebrate without guilt or fear of what comes next. Every emotion has a place in this human experience you have gifted me. Let me not reject any part of it, but bring all of it to you. Let this day be marked not by control or fear, but by presence and peace. Let me show up to each hour not as someone scrambling for direction, but as someone who knows they are held, loved, and guided by a hand unseen. Let every breath remind me that I do not walk alone. Even when I cannot see the path ahead, you are with me. And that is the greatest certainty I could ever carry. So I breathe in your steadiness and breathe out my striving. I let go of the pressure to know and embrace the gift of being known by you in this moment. I trust that everything uncertain in my life is still under your care. Not a detail escapes you. Not a tear falls unnoticed. Not a dream is too small for your attention. And so I entrust this fragile hope to you again, not because I understand, but because you do. Let my life be a quiet offering, not a performance. Let my choices speak of faith, not fear. Let my rhythms align with your grace, not the noise of the world. And if I must walk through shadows to reach the morning light, then let me do so with a heart wide open, a soul attuned to your whisper, and a spirit anchored in peace that cannot be shaken by what I do not know. As I rise into this new morning, I release the need to name every step ahead. Instead, I choose to name you faithful. That is enough. That has always been enough. Father, as my thoughts continue to settle into the quiet rhythm you are teaching me, I sense you gently guiding me beyond my timelines and deeper into your pace. Yesterday's surrender lingers in me like a low, steady song, and as this morning unfolds, I feel you inviting me to release even more. The delays I once feared now seem less like obstacles and more like pauses full of unseen purpose. The detours I used to resist no longer feel like setbacks, but rather secret pathways carved by your wisdom. Lord, I used to measure progress by how far I could see, how fast I could move, how many goals I could check off. But your ways are so different from mine. You teach me that movement is not always visible. Sometimes it looks like waiting. Sometimes it sounds like silence. And still, you are working. Still, you are forming something in the soil beneath my feet. Even when the surface feels unchanged, help me trust the work you are doing in the hidden places. God, there is a tenderness in how you use time not to punish, but to prepare. I forget that sometimes. I forget that love does not rush, that healing is not hurried, that depth can be microwaved. But you, in your infinite patience, invite me to rest even while I wait. You remind me that I am not behind. I am not lost. I am not forgotten just because the answer has not arrived. You are never late. And so, if you are not anxious, then why should I be? Teach me to reframe the pauses not as punishment, but as provision. To see in the slowness a sacred kind of shaping. In the days where the path twists and I lose my footing, remind me that detours often lead to deeper destinations. That the delay in one area may be the divine setup for something more aligned than I ever imagined. Let me not mistake delay for denial. Let me not confuse silence with absence. Father, when I begin to measure my worth by my pace, draw me back to the truth. I am already loved in full. I am already held, already chosen, already claimed as yours. There is no milestone I must reach to be secure in your embrace. I do not have to earn what you have already given, and so I release my tight grip on timelines today. I trade my calendar for your cadence. I choose to believe that your slowness is not neglect, but nurture. In this stillness, refine me, shape me with soft hands. If the answers are not yet ready, then maybe I am not either, and that is okay. If the door has not opened, then maybe the foundation still needs strengthening. Maybe my heart still needs softening. Maybe my trust still needs deepening. Use every delay to make me more like you, not hurried, not frantic, but present and grounded in peace. Let my spirit lean into the unknown, not with resistance, but with wonder. Let me meet the questions of today, not with fear, but with faith that you are already ahead of me. The road may bend, but you do not. The way may twist, but your promises remain straight. The weather may shift, but your covering stays firm over me. So I choose to walk slowly, steadily, not needing all the answers to be certain of your nearness. Lord, I confess that sometimes the hardest thing is not the waiting itself, but what the waiting reveals in me. The restlessness, the insecurity, the impatience I did not know I carried. And yet, even that is grace. Even that is an invitation to lay it all down at your feet. I do not need to pretend that I am unaffected. I can bring the frustration. I can bring the weariness. I can bring the ache for clarity and still be welcomed into your presence. There is no shame in needing reassurance. There is no weakness in asking again for strength. So today I ask for a deeper stillness, one that is not dependent on outcomes, but rooted in you. A stillness that knows how to hold hope and tension at the same time, that trusts you even when life is messy and uncertain, that remembers how you always turn waiting into wonder, how you write stories in the margins of delay. God, let this day not be measured by productivity, but by proximity to you. Let me not chase after results, but after your voice. Let me hear it in the smallest places, in the wind, through the trees, in the rhythm of my breath, in the pauses between tasks. You are not far from me in the quiet. You are in the waiting room, just as surely as you are in the breakthrough. You are in the slow mornings and the rerouted plans. You are here, now, when I am tempted to compare my path to others, to rush ahead because their timelines look different. Remind me that I am not on their journey. You are not cloning destinies. You are crafting something uniquely holy in me, and that takes time. You are not rushed, and neither must I be. My purpose does not diminish in delay. It deepens. My calling is not canceled by detours. It is clarified. So even if today brings more questions than answers, I will not panic. I will breathe and remember that uncertainty is not a sign of your absence, but a stage for your presence to unfold. I will move gently, not with urgency, but with intention. I will not run ahead of grace. I will not demand clarity before obedience. I will simply take the next faithful step, however small, and trust that you are with me in it. Father, let me carry joy even when the outcome is unclear. Let me sing while I wait. Let me serve while I hope. Let me love deeply while I walk slowly. Let me be content not because I have figured it all out, but because I trust you to hold what I can yet see. Let my posture be one of open hands and soft eyes, ready to see your glory even in the gray areas. Today, I am not asking for the full picture, just enough light for the step in front of me. I am not asking for fast answers, just enough peace to move without fear. I am not asking for perfection, just the courage to keep showing up with all my questions, knowing you welcome me still. This is the day you have made, even if it comes wrapped in mystery, and I will walk in it with a heart that trusts you more than it trusts certainty. Lord, in the gentle hush of this early hour, I lean in close to your whisper, eager to receive whatever you have for me. The stillness that settled in the last moments remains with me, like a soft veil over my heart, and I carry it forward now, not as a silence, but as a sacred readiness. I sense that you are drawing me deeper, not only into awareness of you, but into surrender, a posture of soul that allows you to write freely upon the tablet of my being. God, you are the writer of my story, and yet you never force the pen. You wait for my willingness, my trust, my yes. And this morning, I hand you every chapter, those I have tried to edit, those I have been too afraid to open, even those I hoped you would skip. I give them back to you, asking that you breathe truth into what is distorted, clarity into what is confusing, and peace into what still hurts. Father, as I breathe in this sacred calm, I recognize how much of my past I have carried like a burden instead of surrendering it like an offering. You never asked me to drag it behind me like chains. You asked me to lay it at the altar, and here I am, finally brave enough to stop clutching what wounded me, ready instead to watch you transform it. Lord, remind me again that you are not just with me in the light, but also present in the shadows. You are not waiting for me at the finish line. You are pacing with me, step by step, breath by breath. When I misstep, you do not scold. You steady. When I falter, you do not abandon. You anchor. I have spent so many mornings rushing past the sacred, chasing productivity instead of presence, checking off tasks rather than checking in with my soul. But not today. Today, I choose a different rhythm, a rhythm set by you, where my steps are aligned with peace and not panic, where I no longer equate my worth with how much I achieve, but with how deeply I walk with you. Father, take away the pressure to be perfect. I was never called to performance, only to obedience. It is not in the polish, but in the posture that you are glorified. So I come as I am, raw, honest, imperfect, but fully yours. Let this be enough. Let this be worship. God, help me notice you today in the unassuming, in the laughter that rises without warning, in the warmth of sunlight streaming through a window, in the sound of my own breath grounding me in the now. Let these not be overlooked as ordinary, but received as divine echoes of your nearness. If doubt visits, let me meet it with faith. If fear rises, let me stand on truth. If weariness finds me, let me rest without guilt. And if unexpected blessings arrive, let me receive them without shrinking, knowing I am not undeserving, I am loved. Lord, teach me to speak words today that heal and not harm. Let kindness be my default language, not just in what I say, but in how I look, how I pause, how I care. Let my presence make people feel safe, seen, and softened, not because I am strong, but because you are tender through me. And if conflict arises, show me the path of humility. Help me hold my convictions without crushing others. Teach me to listen more than I argue, to seek understanding more than victory, to remember that grace never loses its power, even when truth must be spoken. God, expand my heart today. Stretch it wider than my own needs, deeper than my own world. Let me care enough to inconvenience myself for someone else. Let me look at strangers with the same warmth I reserve for those I know. Let compassion be a natural reflex, not a calculated choice. When I am tempted to rush, slow me. When I am tempted to control, loosen my grip. When I am tempted to withdraw, draw me close again. I want to live this day open to wonder, to surprise, to growth. I do not want to protect myself from discomfort, if it is the very thing you will use to refine me. And Father, if I stumble into discouragement, speak louder than the lies. Your voice always calls me higher. Your truth always calls me home. Let me remember that today's limitations do not define my future, that what feels like delay may actually be your preparation. Let me walk in gratitude, not just for what feels good, but for what grows me. For every moment I do not understand, may trust rise. For every prayer still waiting, may hope remain. And for every weakness I face, may your power prove itself faithful again. This is not just another day, it is a holy invitation, a chance to witness grace in motion, a chance to respond to life, not from habit, but from holiness. You are here, and that changes everything. Your presence transforms mundane into meaningful, routine into revelation. So let this morning mark me. Let it set the tone, not just for today, but for the way I live forward. Let me carry this stillness like oil in a lamp, lighting the way when things get uncertain. Let my faith not be stored away for emergencies, but active in every conversation, every decision, every breath. Lord, you never rush me out of your presence. You are never impatient with my wandering thoughts or weary soul. You stay. You stay when the world pulls. You stay when I stray. And that kind of love anchors me. It tells me I am never too much or not enough. I am simply yours. There is a quiet joy that comes when I stop striving. When I remember I do not have to have all the answers. That peace is not found in figuring everything out, but in letting go of what was never mine to carry. That wisdom comes not through anxiety, but through abiding. Let today be a living prayer. Let each action echo worship. Let each interruption become an invitation. Let each moment become holy, because you are in it with me. As this chapter settles in my spirit, I prepare to step into the next without fear, because I know you will meet me there too. Father, as I rise again in the stillness you so patiently provide, I bring with me the remnants of yesterday's quiet surrender. I have not forgotten the hush that lingered in my soul, that calming breath of your nearness which taught me that peace is not a place I find, it is a presence I carry when I stay connected to you. And so I return, not to restart, but to continue this tender rhythm of abiding, one sacred breath at a time. Lord, thank you for teaching me that the holy is not distant, is woven into the simplicity of today. The way the light begins to stretch across the floor, the way my lungs expand with every inhale, the way your mercy meets me again, not with demands but with invitation. I do not have to be ready. I only have to be willing. I only have to open. You fill what is yielded. God, this morning I feel both the weight of responsibility and the beauty of being held. You allow me to carry purpose, but you never ask me to carry it alone. You assign tasks, yet offer grace in every step. There is a quiet courage that begins to grow when I realize that you walk the path with me. Not ahead, not behind, but beside. In this awareness, striving gives way to surrender. Performance bows to presence. You remind me that it is okay to not know what comes next. I do not have to race ahead into hypotheticals. I do not have to rehearse every possibility. You are already there, already making a way, already equipping me for what I cannot yet see. So instead of bracing for what might go wrong, I choose to prepare my spirit for what could go beautifully right, if only I trust you more than my fears. Father, help me loosen my grip on every outcome I keep trying to control. I can force peace, but I can create space for it. I can manufacture joy, but I can clear out the clutter that chokes its growth. I can guarantee answers, but I can stay open to the wisdom that only flows through stillness. Let me not be so fixated on my own voice that I forget to wait for yours. Some mornings, Lord, I bring you fire in my bones. Other mornings, like this one, I come with only embers, flickering and fragile. But still, you breathe on them. Still, you make warmth from what I thought was fading. Still, you see potential in what I am tempted to dismiss. Thank you for never shaming me for my weariness. You simply meet me in it. And when doubts whisper, when the inner critic grows loud, when the lies of not enough begin to echo again, remind me that you are not swayed by my inner storm. You do not withdraw when I feel unsteady. You are not impressed by my strength, nor disappointed by my lack of it. You are moved by my heart, by the quiet turning toward you, by the sacred courage to keep showing up when everything within me wants to hide. Lord, if today holds difficulties, let me not waste them. Let me mine the moments for meaning. Let me become more like you, not in ease but in endurance, in the unseen choices I make to extend kindness, to hold back harsh words, to forgive quickly, to pause before reacting, to offer gentleness when my pride screams for power. These are the small altars of the day. Let me offer them to you. And if joy comes unexpectedly, let me not miss it in my rush to the next thing. Let laughter spill freely. Let celebration take up space. Let me remember that you are not only a God of lessons, but a God of delight, that your blessings are not reserved for the deserving, but poured out upon the willing. Let me receive, not with guilt, but with gratitude, knowing that every good thing comes from you. Today, I ask not just for peace in my heart, but for peace in the way I walk through this world. Let my footsteps carry gentleness. Let my eyes reflect understanding. Let my voice be a balm. Let my spirit be light enough to lift others and strong enough to withstand shadows. And when I stumble, let grace be my landing, not shame. God, teach me to trust slow growth, to embrace the hidden places where no one applauds you. Let me resist the urge to measure myself by what others can see. Let me measure by obedience, by love, by how often I return to your presence, even when no one is watching. There, in the secret, you do your deepest work. You know the things I am still afraid to ask for, the dreams I buried because they felt too fragile, the prayers I whispered half-heartedly because disappointment had dulled my hope. Breathe life back into those places, not because I demand an outcome, but because I desire to live unguarded again. Let hope rise not from certainty, but from closeness with you. And in all I do today, whether mundane or meaningful, let it be an echo of my love for you. Let my actions say, You matter most. Let my thoughts drift toward you not only when I am in need, but in the ordinary. Let the rhythm of this day be holy, because my heart remains in rhythm with yours. Father, if there is someone today who needs the encouragement I once needed, help me be the one who offers it. If someone needs presence more than advice, let me give them time, not answers. If someone needs to be believed in, let my words lift. Let me see people not as interruptions, but as opportunities. Let my life today be evidence of yours. As I step out into this day, I choose to carry not only my list of responsibilities, but a deeper awareness of you. You are the strength beneath my effort, the calm beneath my noise, the grace beneath my gaps. And as I go, I take this stillness with me not to keep for myself, but to pour out wherever you lead. Let the echoes of this quiet moment ring through every encounter, every task, every choice. Not perfectly, but genuinely. Not loudly, but consistently. Let it remind me that I am never alone, never abandoned, never without purpose. I am carried, I am seen, I am loved. Lord, as this quiet moment unfolds into the first breath of day, I can once more not with new words, but with a heart still learning how to rest in you. From the very first morning, I whispered into your presence, to this very one now. The journey has never been about perfection. It has always been about drawing closer, returning again and again, and learning how to stay. You have shown me that even in stillness, you are doing more than I can see. You are not the God of hurried miracles alone, but also of slow, steady shaping. In the hush of these mornings, you have carved out space in my soul where peace can take root. You have softened the hard places. You have breathed tenderness into my fear and turned weary silence into sacred conversation. Father, you have walked beside me not only in the strong, confident days, but also in the mornings when I was hesitant, uncertain, and tired before I even began. You welcomed me in every form I came. You met me in whispered prayers, in quiet sighs, in the restless stirrings that had no words. You never needed polish. You never asked for grandeur. You only asked for honesty, and I gave it. And you met it with grace. Now, as I close this part of our journey, I do not feel like I am leaving. I feel like I am continuing with more awareness, more calm, more trust. This rhythm we have found, this stillness at the beginning of each day, it is no longer something outside of me. It is something I carry. It is something I have become. You have taught me how to see through the eyes of stillness, how to speak with kindness rooted in presence, how to move with purpose shaped by peace. Even on the days when I may forget to return to this posture, I know now that the door is always open. There is no guilt in forgetting, only invitation to begin again. Your mercy is new. Not once, but every time I reach for it. Your nearness is not earned by consistency, but received by trust. And I trust you, God. I give thanks for all the mornings we have walked together in this gentle quiet, For the days you reminded me to breathe when I was holding tension I did not realize. For the moments you shifted my entire perspective with a single whisper. For the times you simply sat with me when my heart could not yet find words. All of it mattered. All of it healed something in me. As this chapter unfolds into the next hours of my life, I pray that I remain open, that I stay soft even when life hardens around me, that I walk slowly even when the world demands speed, that I trust deeply even when clarity has not arrived. I do not need all the answers to keep walking with you. I only need to remember that you walk with me. And when I face moments that pull me away from peace, when the noise gets loud, when the path seems uncertain, when discouragement knocks, I will remember the sound of this morning's stillness. I will return to the breath. I will recall the anchor of your love. I will trace my way back through memory to this quiet sanctuary within. You have made it possible for my faith to grow not in leaps, but in roots. Quiet roots that no one sees, but that hold everything steady beneath the surface. It is not about how high I can reach, but how deeply I am grounded. And you have grounded me in something unshakable. Your love. May I now carry this into every space I enter, into conversations that need grace, into rooms that feel tense, into tasks that feel monotonous, into moments that feel overlooked. Let me be a bearer of quiet light. Let me remember that light does not need to shout. It simply shines. To the one who has walked this entire journey in prayer, thank you. Your time here has not been wasted. You have honored God with your presence. You have honored your soul by pausing long enough to listen. You have built something sacred minute by minute, word by word, breath by breath. This is not the end. This is the continuation of a quiet revolution within you. If you have felt comfort in these prayers, let it move through you now. Let it shape the way you treat yourself and others. Let it ripple outward in your responses, your pauses, your compassion. And when you feel distant, when life feels heavy again, come back, not out of obligation, but out of longing. You will find that God is still here, still listening, still loving without condition. The morning is no longer something to survive, but something to savor. There is beauty waiting, even in the ordinary. There is glory tucked inside the quiet. There is holiness in how you rise, how you sit with God, how you begin. Thank you for staying through to the very end. This prayer may pause, but the invitation continues. Let this be the beginning of a lifestyle, not just a moment. Let these prayers be the rhythm that grounds your days. Let your faith breathe. Let it live in how you show up, how you endure, how you love. And now, as the sky brightens and the morning air carries the first soft wind, may you rise with a soul at peace, a heart awakened, and a spirit lit by the quiet fire of faith. Let this day unfold like sunlight stretching across still waters, gentle, steady, full of hope. If this prayer series has touched your heart, I invite you to leave a comment below with your own reflection or a prayer of your own. Your voice matters. Your faith inspires. Let us continue growing together in grace. Please remember to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future prayers. and share this with someone who might need it. Together, let us keep returning day after day to the quiet place where our faith swells and our hearts are restored.